Hello, football fans, and welcome to Hortonville High School for tonight's non-conference game between the visiting Xavier Hawks and the host Hortonville Polar Bears. Another USA Today Network Wisconsin digital live stream. Proud to bring you Friday Night Football. I'm Ricardo Arguello, hanging out as always with Brett Christopherson, and bringing you those high-definition shots is Jim Rosandick. We're all part of USA Today Network Wisconsin. It's rainy. It's a little bit cool. It's turning into mid-October weather, as you might expect. But we are anticipating a great game, Brett, because these two teams, for the most part, have fared extremely well in their relative seasons. We know Xavier coming in with great quarterback, great defensive players. We know Hortonville has a varied passing attack. This Dodd kid's incredible. The Zuliger kid for Xavier, their quarterback, can hurt you with the legs and the arms. We're expecting a good game. I'm pretty pumped, Brett, because these two teams, first off, we haven't done yet this year as well.
Well, and this wasn't supposed to be the game tonight.
Exactly.
I think Xavier was supposed to take on Wapaka, and Hortonville was going to take on Wausau West. We were going to be here. We were going to do the Hortonville-Wausau West game because Wausau West in our central coverage group.
This worked out better.
This worked out nice because we've been talking about how I really wanted to get these two teams in this season, try to spread out as much as we can through this very unique season and very unique schedule because we don't know what's going to happen from one week to the next. So very excited. And for the young ones out there who are watching tonight, maybe this used to be a conference rivalry.
It did, yes.
Way back in the old Valley 8 conference.
There you go. So back earlier this past decade?
These two teams haven't played since 06.
Okay.
I looked up Mike Bates over at Xavier High School, has this great website with historical information and has the sheet. And 06 was the last time these two teams have played. And we can talk about that a little bit down the line, but it just goes to show you that Hortonville's grown a little bit since then, kind of Kimberly-esque as far as growth in their school district and beautiful facility. First time here since it's been redone. Akin Field is fantastic.
Akin Field, yes.
Beautiful.
And actually, technically, it's Wolf River Community Bank Stadium.
At Akin Field. Yes, thank you.
Brad, we come in with Xavier coming in at 3-0. Hortonville's 2-1. Good game we're expecting here between two pretty good teams. I'll start up with some Hortonville notes, and then, Brett, you can finish up with the Xavier notes. By the way, this notes package put together every week beautifully by Brett Christopherson. About Hortonville, hey, the Polar Bears are coming off a 36-21 win over Wisconsin Rapids last Friday at Rapids. Both were scheduled to play this season as part of the Valley Football Association. Quarterback Sam Dodd, who I mentioned earlier, he threw for 240 yards and 3 touchdowns to pace that Hortonville offense. Parker Lawrence was on the receiving end of 2 of those 3 scores.
He's hurt.
He is, okay.
He's out.
Thank you for that update. TJ Payne caught the other. That's too bad because this Lawrence kid was one of our terrific, our Elite 11, right, Rosie, that we put together earlier last month. Payne finished with 4 receptions for 96 yards, and Lawrence, like you mentioned, Brett, is out with a broken collarbone. Caught 2 passes for 55 yards. Aiden Least and Chase Hughes each added 2 receptions apiece. Hughes also rushed for 83 yards and a touchdown on 22 carries. Payne, by the way, also had an interception in the win, so he can do it on both sides of the ball. And on the season, Dodd, and this is a kid who we're going to see a lot of and see his development. He has thrown for 674 yards and 8 touchdowns. That's according to WisSports.net. He has completed 48% of his passes and does have 4 interceptions. We mentioned Chase Hughes. He is the Polar Bears' top rusher with 298 yards and 3 touchdowns on 49 attempts, 6.1 yards per carry average. And talking back about Parker Lawrence, his 12 catches, 345 receiving yards and 7 receiving touchdowns leads the team in those categories. Payne is next with 7 catches for 130 yards and a score. Now, Brett, you mentioned Hortonville was scheduled to play Wausau West. They opened their season with a 43-39 win over West De Pere. Remember that big win for Hortonville. But then they followed that with a 42-7 setback against those surprising DC Everest Evergreens.
Really well.
We'll talk about them maybe a little bit later on in the live stream. Before bouncing back last week against Wisconsin Rapids, Polar Bears will face Wausau West on October 30th at Wausau, so they will be playing them again soon. And against Wausau East next Friday, that's who the Polar Bears will be playing. Wausau East next Friday. Valley Football Association game here at Akin Field. Kickoff scheduled for 7 o'clock. Brett, what can you tell me about those Xavier Hawks?
Yeah, the undefeated Hawks, 3-0, entered tonight's game ranked 2nd in the state in Division 4 in this week's WisSports.net coaches poll. And they're coming off a 44-18 win over Bay Conference counterpart Shawano last Friday in a battle of the Hawks that was over at Rocky Blyer Field in Appleton. Quarterback Ray Zuliger accounted for 4 touchdowns, 2 through the air and 2 on the ground, in pacing a Xavier offense that turned out 553 yards. Zuliger threw for 203 yards, while the Hawks rushed for 350 yards. Sam Oswald and Gabe Gonzalez each caught a touchdown pass. Oswald from 37 yards out, and Gonzalez from 8 yards out on his lone catch of the night. Oswald finished with 3 receptions for 81 yards, while Sam Loken and Cal Mayers finished with 2 catches apiece. Mayers and Loken had 63 and 51 receiving yards, respectively. Max Strand, Ricardo.
Max Strand.
He led Xavier's punishing ground game with 162 yards and 2 touchdowns on 19 carries. He had scoring runs of 10 and 4 yards. Zuliger, a dual-threat quarterback, finished with 119 yards on 12 carries. He had a touchdown run, actually 2 touchdown runs, as I said, of 25 and 3 yards. On the season, Zuliger has thrown for 369 yards and 6 touchdowns while completing 59% of his passes. Zuliger is also the Hawks' top rusher with 425 yards and 8 scores on 38 attempts for an 11.2 yards per carry average. Strand is next with 277 yards and 4 touchdowns on 44 carries. Mayers and Oswald lead the way in receiving with 4 catches and 1 touchdown apiece. Mayers has 136 receiving yards, while Oswald has 106 yards. As a team, Xavier averaging 323 yards per game on the ground and allowing just 51 yards. The Hawks are averaging 123 yards per game through the air and allowing 171.3. Defensively, they have recorded 5 interceptions. Xavier opened the season, Ricardo, with a 41-7 road victory over New London, and then followed that up with a resounding 54-18 win over Fox Valley Lutheran, the Apple Bowl at Rocky Blyer Field, before taking down Shawano last week. And we will get back to the notes and our coverage after the national anthem. All right, to finish off the notes, Xavier, right now, Ricardo, on the schedule to play against West Appear next Friday. That would be a Bay Conference game at Rocky Blyer Field in Appleton. Kickoff is scheduled for 7 p.m., but I don't know the status yet of the Phantoms, if they are indeed going to be coming back in playing football, or what the deal is. So we'll see. Again, we have to be flexible.
I believe West Appear started in-school teaching again.
Oh, have they?
Or their elementary schools. But I'll have to double-check on that. But that's at least I was under the impression of.
Hey, by the way, I got a text. We'll do some birthday shout-outs tonight.
Sure.
Buddy of mine, Dwayne Disson, sending me a text. Happy 65th birthday. A shout-out to Colleen Schuler, who's watching the game tonight over in Little Chute. We were just in Little Chute last week, so happy birthday, Colleen. 65 years young. So thank you for watching, Colleen and Dwayne. We appreciate it. And again, not sure where we're going to – this was like last week. Not sure where we'll be next week. It really all depends on kind of just how things shake out here. And understandably, Ricardo, I'm sure everybody's seen the news. The numbers just are not good right now in the state here with the COVID-19 infection cases continue to climb. So I give these schools, like I said last week at Little Chute, these schools, these coaches, teachers, administrators, athletic directors, players, a lot of credit. They're trying to grind through this, and And frankly, I think that's what you have to do. I think we've kind of shown that shutting things down maybe not the right decision. So try to go as safely as possible. And knock on wood, Ricardo, really haven't heard of any outbreaks in high schools or through sports. So let's hope we can get through these next few weeks. I think we have 3 more weeks after this as far as regular season football. And then there's a culminating event or a couple playoff games I think is on the docket. So let's hope we can get through that and then regroup and see how the winter sports season's gonna go. I saw the news from was it the Badger Conference today?
Yeah, about winter sports.
Foregoing winter sports completely. Boy, I don't know how I feel. I do know how I feel about that. I think that's jumping the gun a little bit. I think there's still some time to kind of see how this all plays out. But maybe that's for a discussion on the R&B show at some point. We got to get that ramped up again here pretty soon. By the way, Ricardo, kind of a measuring stick, you could say, for both schools. In theory, Hortonville is a member of the Fox Valley Association. Bigger school, larger numbers in the program. Very competitive team in the FVA or the VFA. Really should be the favorite, right? Going against a smaller Xavier team. But this Xavier team is really good.
And I was talking with Xavier head coach Dave Hinkins intermittently throughout the summer and throughout the first week of the season, and he was very confident in his team this season. He knew he was returning back a good core of returning players in terms of letter winners, especially on the defensive side of the field. Then when you have a quarterback like Zuliger who can do everything, he knew his team was going to be very, very good. It's just unfortunate that the pandemic has altered the season, Brett.
Sam Oswald receives a kick. He was back with Ethan Severin, and a really good start. A lot of athletes really on both sides. It's too bad about Parker Lawrence, though, being out. I guess, from my understanding, is he played last week against Rapids, but then broke his collarbone in that game, and then obviously out for the season. So hopefully he can, assuming we have a basketball season, he can be healed up and ready to go. I would think that he'll be back out there doing his thing on the hardwood, but that's a big loss because he was one of your Elite 11. Of course, Xavier with Max Strand, also an Elite 11. So some talent, as I said. And now Max Strand's suddenly a running back.
Well, he always was a running back, but now he's being a little bit more featured perhaps than in the past. And he is the sole backer running back in this formation. First and 10 at the 34 for Xavier.
Zuliger with the pitch outside. Ricardo, that was number 20. That was Logan Verbumen, the senior. And pretty good pursuit by Hortonville, although about 4-yard gain for Verbumen.
They're going to call it at the 38, second down and 6 for Xavier. Just underway here at Akin Field. Brett, our first time here.
Beautiful.
Since the renovation. And it is a gorgeous stadium.
Nice little setting, kind of the trees. Again, the darkness happens way too soon now here in October, but trees were looking real pretty, even in the gray, rainy skies, and always love coming out to Hortonville. They do a great job, and as I said in the open, it's a school that mirrors Kimberly and Kimberly's growth. A small school back in the day, that was Kimberly. Now they've got this palace on County N, right, and all those championships that they've won in so many sports, and they've just experienced so much growth with the Darboy area, and the same thing here with Greenville feeding into Hortonville, and you're seeing the growth in the facilities, and I'm just waiting for that indoor facility. They got to get one coming up here soon, don't they?
Absolutely. Third down and 4 is being pressured heavily. Zuliger able to get it away, and I think the ball hit the ground as they're calling that incomplete.
That's a tough throw, but even tougher as he's going to his left as a right-handed quarterback, the pursuit from the backside. Verbumen was the intended receiver, but a nice 3-and-out for this Hortonville defense, so we'll see what the Polar Bears can do on offense.
That's one of those plays for Xavier, Brett. They're rolling out Zuliger. You're trusting that his athleticism and speed will give him the amount of time to get that pass off as he was being pursued heavily. Good
athlete, as you said, and a heck of a basketball player. He did some really good things and expect to do some even better things for Matt Klarner's team coming up this winter. They should have another nice basketball team. There's the punt. And a good catch, kind of a diving, lunging catch. That was number 7. It looked like T.J. Payne with the good, clean hands there, and it looks like 1st and 10. Ball going to be at the, what we'll call that, the 33.
Again, nice setup here for us, Brett, in the press box. Again, big thanks to Sam England, activities director here, and a little cool up here. As me, I underdressed just a tad.
It's fun. Been fun getting to know Sam. He's a young athletic director. He's making me feel old.
Well, you are old.
I remember those England guys, good athletes. Nina High School.
1st and 10 at the 27.
That's Chase Hughes, right?
Yes, trying to find some room off the right side.
Chase Hughes, a senior, Ricardo, 5'8", 155 pounds. But you see how fast that Xavier defense is. Getting to the spot, really stop for no gain, 2nd and 10.
Again, just underway here, 10:05 and counting here in the first quarter. Akin Field, Hortonville High School, Xavier Hawks, 3-0. Hortonville Polar Bears, 2-1. Second down and 7, or second down and 10 situation, excuse me, at the 27 is Hughes.
Good tackle by Sam Loken, just wrapped up Hughes' legs there and tripped him up. So 3rd and, what are we going to call this, about 7?
7, yeah.
Ball at the 36.
Ball's going to be placed at the 36.
But Sam England, one of the many athletic directors that we enjoy working with, got to give a shout out. I know they're watching tonight from the comfort of their warm, cozy home. Kathy Bates and her husband Mike over at Xavier. As Dodd on the run, good throw, good find over the middle. Let's see if they, no, he's going to be short. I think that was number 80 on the reception. Was that Aiden Leist?
Yes.
So 4th down.
And
they're going to give him the first down.
Yeah,
wow, I thought he was short.
Well, they called it right away, a 7-yard gain, Brett. It was going to be close, but the referees decided it was a first down.
I thought he was short of the stick, but maybe they're saying a little forward progress there. But, hey, 43 ball will be spotted, and good job by Leist to fight and get just enough yardage to keep the chains moving.
Again, Dodd, a 6'4", 200-pound junior. So good size for the Polar Bears quarterback. The hard count is Hughes. Nowhere to go. Big old number 76. That's Braden Tepp, 6'5", 295-pound senior.
How about that for some
NFL size guy?
Right in the middle of that defensive line. Hughes had nowhere to go. That's a big body to try to get around. So 2nd, I think they lost a yard, so 2nd and 11. Ball's going to be spotted at the 42. Got to say thanks to everybody watching live tonight on postcrescent.com, facebook.com/postcrescent. We're always happy, Ricardo, when we can live, and I say that in quotations, to see another week of high school football.
2nd down and 11, and Dodd's going to go deep. Lofting it far down the field.
Oh, what a catch, Payne!
And there's a penalty on the play, but I'm going to guess that's defensive.
Well, that was
interference.
Max Oberbrunn, her number 35, had pretty good coverage, but Payne just high-pointing that football, and Dodd threw it to a spot, said go up there and see if my receiver can get it. Now let's see what the call is. No, the Hawks are saying it was an offensive pass interference, and it's coming back. And you can hear the Polar Bear fans in front of us not happy about that. So officials down on the field, Ricardo, must have seen just a little bit of a push-off from Payne on Oberbrunner, and that's going to negate one of those explosive plays that we're kind of expecting to see from Dodd in that offense tonight.
35-plus yard play there, Brett, erased.
Remember, in the NFL, you could last year you could review that. You could challenge it. That worked out well, didn't it?
No, it didn't. That's why it's not there anymore.
Terrible.
And where are they putting them? Way back at the 28?
Wow.
No, count it back farther, 27. 15-yard penalty, so it's 2nd and 26.
2nd and a long way to go. What's in the playbook here? Little draw play to Hughes. Number 15, Sam Loken, again coming in fast to stop any sort of momentum by Hughes. Now 3rd and
19, I think it's about where it would be at.
This would be about playoff time if it was a regular season, wouldn't it?
Yeah, about the first week.
Yeah. I was thinking about that on the drive over today, and Those are always fun time of year. You know, you can kind of anticipate looking at potential matchups and looking at all the brackets. And usually we would end our football streaming season at Titan Stadium, but that will not be the case this year as Dodd is on the run, getting chased hard, looks downfield and nothing. Good
and
job
there's
by
a penalty on the play.
I'm wondering if that's going to be holding back where that flag is, but good coverage on the downfield by this Hawks defense. And I'm guessing if it's a hold, Xavier will decline that and force the punt. And that is the hold, and decline is what Xavier will do. And Ricardo, Polar Bears are going to punt, and Xavier's going to get nice field position here.
Both teams a bit disjointed on offense, Brett, on their first series, respectively.
Credit the defenses.
Yes, but also penalties, at least for Hortonville.
That's true. Holding penalty, of course, the big offensive pass interference call that negated big pass play downfield to Payne. Look at this.
That's Dodd there on the punt. Takes a nice Hortonville bounce, going to be out right at the 23.
Ethan Severn was there for the Hawks, but I think wisely just let that thing skip through. And, yeah, they'll spot it at the 23-yard line. So our second chance to see the Hawks. And, yeah, looking at the all-time series, Xavier leads at 6-2. They played 8 times, Ricardo, from 99 through 06, back in the old Valley 8 conference. I remember covering a Xavier Hortonville game here. I think I'm looking at the sheet here. I think it might have been in 2004. I'll have to see if I can get a better look at.
That was before my time here.
Kevin Rohr was the quarterback for the Hawks. I think Lee Weiland was a wideout. They won that game, and I remember Jeff Nault was the head coach, the former Badger here at Hortonville. As Zuliger on the run. Whoa. Zuliger, good job to get away, but look at that pursuit of that Hortonville defense. Was that 88 that was there chasing hard? Brady Mashlin?
Yeah.
6'3", 210-pound defensive lineman showing some wheels to disrupt that attempt by Zuliger.
Well, Zuliger, or showing wheels, yes, but Zuliger also showing some escapability.
Yeah.
Because that could have been a loss of about 7 or 8 yards at least. Able to get the incompletion, bring up second down and 10 at the 23, 6:40 left here in the first quarter at Akin Field. Strand in the backfield.
And that's is that his first carry?
It is.
Hey, good job by number 20 for the Polar Bears. Preston Menino, I'm sorry, the defensive back. He held his ground. You got Big Mac Strand coming at you. That's get that heart pumping a little bit.
4-yard carry for Strand. Third down and 6 of the 27.
6'1", 220-pound Mac Strand. Very good wrestler. Actually, you had both him and his sister on the Varsity Roundtable last year.
Anna Strand.
Yep. Did a nice story on kind of the growth of girls wrestling as Zuliger drops back. He's got time.
Oh, got his guy.
Got his guy downfield. Nice catch. Leaping catch, Ricardo. That was number 2, Cole Shelbrack. Senior, 160 pounds. Nice throw. Put it right on the spot, but Shelbrack doing a great job of keeping his balance and making a catch along that boundary. It's pretty tight. Ball's going to be spotted at the 42-yard line, and Shelbrack showing some speed, Ricardo. He got past the defender.
31-yard pass play for Xavier, and they are in Hortonville territory. First down and 10 at the 42. 5:55 left in the first quarter. Zuliger will take it himself to the 39, gain of 3. You know, the Xavier offense appears to have changed a little bit with Zuliger, Brett, because, those years with Ferris and Zach Simon and those guys, it was a little bit more spread out. Not the case here.
I think that's one thing Xavier's done so well over the years with Dave Hinkins as a coach is they adapt to their personnel. I remember some years where they've had a stable of fantastic running backs, and they just, pick you apart on the ground. As Zuliger, I think that was a bad snap.
It
was able to get his hands on it. That could have been a very big turnover, but good hands by Zuliger to keep it, and third down coming up. So, what pieces he has and kind of how he envisions using these pieces, he does a good job of adapting. That's why Dave Hinkins, I believe this is his 20th season now, has had tremendous success in upping the profile of this Xavier football program. They've been knocking at the door at Camp Randall a few times. We'll talk about that as the game goes on as well.
Yeah, the one year with when Ferris was a senior, I know they got to the state semifinals.
I think they lost to Greendale that year.
Yes.
That was in 2013. Zuliger out on the run. You got Big Mac Strand as your blocker. Boy, nothing doing there. Oh, how did he find him? That's number 30, Cal Mayers, with the reception, and Ricardo Zuliger was running out of real estate. He was tiptoeing on that other sideline and somehow found Mayers over the middle.
You got to admire that, Brett. He was going to get smoked. He
had nowhere else to go.
3 or 4 Hortonville kids bearing down on him, 3 or 4 Hortonville defenders. He was able to wait to the very last second and find Mayers for the big chunk of yardage. I'm trying to add this up. I think it's 19 yards. So Pat's plays of 31 and 19 yards for Zuliger. First down and 10 at the 19. They're in the red zone, Brett.
Boy, great patience by the quarterback there, because most guys would have probably panicked and maybe thrown it away. But Zuliger now looking, and he finds Mayers from 19 yards. Wow. Beautiful throw is right. And Xavier strikes first.
Brett, that was a gorgeous play. It was a timing play. He knew he was throwing it to a spot. He knew where his guy would be. And Mayers with a nice catch. Cal Mayers, 5'10", 175-pound senior.
I believe he's another of those basketball standouts. I remember his name from being in Torchy Clark Gym. And the PAT by number 42, A.J. Seidler, just a freshman. He pops it through, and with 3:55 remaining in this opening quarter from Akin Field, Xavier strikes first, a 19-yard hookup from Ray Zuliger to Cal Mayers. Hawks with the 7-0 lead. Very impressive drive and some nice throws by Zuliger.
I'm updating my Twitter. You can find me on at PC Ricardo. You can find Brett there too as well, at PC Brett C. And don't forget about Rosie at Metal Rosie.
Again, yeah, these two teams used to be part of the Old Valley 8. Last played each other, as I said earlier, in 06. Hawks have won the last 6 games of this series, and overall 6-2. Hortonville won the first 2. Looking at talking about playoffs before, Hortonville has qualified for the WIA playoffs in every season but one since 2010. Its deepest run came in 2013 when it advanced to the Division II state quarterfinals but bowed out. Remember that 14-7 loss to Menasha? I think you covered that game.
Yeah, Menasha actually went on to win the title that year.
No, it was the next year. Menasha lost to Oshkosh North, then which lost to Kimberly.
That's what it was.
That was the first of Kimberly's 5 straight titles. Polar Bears won a playoff game last season. Xavier, meanwhile, has qualified for postseason play in every season but one, dating back to 2002, showing that nice run of success by Hinkins. And speaking about a nice run, how about Hughes with a nice kickoff return almost near midfield. Hawks have advanced to the state semifinals under Dave Hinkins in 2004, 2010, and 2013. So we should talk about these two coaches, Dave Hinkins and then the new one,
Benjamin Stumpf.
Yes. We'll talk about what Stumpf is trying to do here at Hortonville, and again, what Hinkins has done over at Xavier. So 1st and 10 coming up for the Polar Bears, ball at their own 42. And let's see if Hughes, who has the ball in this offense, can answer. Nice run to start this drive.
Gain of about 5 yards for Hughes. 2nd down and 5. Ball will be placed at the 47.
We'll do our best to keep track of some games throughout the area. The big one, I guess, is the battle for the county ensign over at Freedom. Little Chute and the Irish.
Should be a good one, yeah. Little Chute coming off the very tight loss to Wrightstown, 9-6.
Yeah, that was the game we streamed last week, and you can check out any of our live stream replays on any of our websites, just go to the sports link, scroll down, and you'll find the Watch Our Varsity Game of the Week live streams. That was a good defensive battle last week. And speaking about defense, how about 55, Jacob Earl, and 67, Mark Utri, combining on that tackle for the Hawks. Earl, 6'3", senior, 225 pounds. Utri, 6'3", 200 pounds. Also a senior. So third and we'll call it 5 coming up, ball at the 47-yard line. There's a big third down play now for the Polar Bears, down 7-0. Last thing you want to do, Ricardo, was a quick 3-and-out after that nice drive by the Hawks, which led to the touchdown pass, 19-yarder from Zuliger to Mares. Nope.
Oh, and that was just a timing route, comeback route, and it's going to be quickly a 3-and-out.
Yeah, Payne, the intended receiver, Ricardo, and I think you're right, just a little miscommunication. I couldn't tell. Maybe he was expecting Payne to head towards the boundary. Instead, though, 3-and-out, and Xavier with that 7-0 lead and maybe finding a little bit of a rhythm in that passing game. Now going to come back out on the field as Sam Oswald back to receive the punt for the Hawks.
Yeah, Hawks return 10 returning starters on defense, Brett. You're starting to see them set the tempo here as they lead 7-0, and their offense getting the ball back after this 3-and-out.
Good job by Payne to get that off. A fair catch by Oswald. Good job to secure it in a chilly night. Remember last week we were in shorts.
Yeah, we were. 1st and 10 at the 28. That's where Xavier will start.
Sad thing is I see the extended forecast.
It's going to get even more colder?
It's not going to be
more
pretty.
Cold?
It's going to be a little chilly this next week. But I told my wife, I said, I'm convinced that we're going to get some warmer days yet still.
I think there'll be a little bit of a early November.
I like to ride my bike, as you know, and I've ridden my bike through Thanksgiving before I finally kind of call it quits and bring it in for the season. So I'm expecting at least another 5 weeks of bike riding. This is way too early to be getting ready for winter.
1st and 10 at the 28 for the Hawks is Zuliger's back to throw.
Looking back, he's going deep downfield again.
He has his man open.
Ooh. That was number 20. That was Logan Verbumen. He was looked like he was there, was open, but maybe just a little too far out in front of Verbumen. But how about Zuliger? He's got time now, and he's chucking it downfield.
He has to have time because these are kind of slow developing routes, and he's moving. He's on the move. The pocket's moving to give him that time, but he needs to get those routes to completion.
Confidence by the Hawks senior, 2nd and 10. And really going to stress that Polar Bear back end. Let's see what the play call is here. Big Mac Strand has it. Watch out. He's on the run. He's going to have a first down. Big stiff arm and more. Try to bring him down at the 45, maybe the 44. Tough to bring him down, Ricardo, when he gets a full head of steam. And you could kind of see that pace picking up in that big stiff arm. 1st and 10, ball at the 45-yard line.
Yeah, 17-yard gain for Max Strand as
he got enough blocking up front and then took care of the rest. As Strand again. Ooh. How about number 88 for the Polar Bears? That's Brady Mashlin again, the 6'3", 210-pound junior defensive lineman. Busting that play up before it could really get going. Wrapped up Strand, and then he had a whole bunch of teammates come in and help clean it up. So a loss of about 3, 2nd and 13.
Yeah, their Hawks are running a wing T, which, by the way, it's interesting to see that offense. It's a little bit of
It's a throwback.
A throwback offense. I mean, one that we've seen very recently with Muskego.
Back-to-back D1 champions.
It's very difficult to prepare for because not a lot of teams run that anymore. It was common in my day, Brett. That's what we ran in high school.
Well, you were in the 1940s, right?
Yes, exactly.
There's a pitch outside to number 7, Ethan Severin, the junior. And gets, 2 of those 3 yards back. So 3rd and 11 coming up. Now you think 3rd and long as this quarter is starting to wind down. That's a great spot to be in for the Hortonville defense. But when you have weapons like this Hawks team and a smart quarterback like Ray Zuliger is, 11 yards isn't so big for that offense.
Yeah, with this the wing tee, actually the passing game is something that you can do out of the wing tee. A lot of, primarily there's a lot of belly plays, blast plays, tackle traps, that kind of thing. And there is
that's going to be a false start.
It will be.
It's fun to watch those offenses, though. They're still effective, and Muskego's showing that with, well, back-to-back Division I championships, so beating Kimberly and Bayport last year, Kimberly 2 years ago, and a very tough offense. And the ball fakes by the quarterback were very, very good. They run that offense to perfection down there, and I don't know what their winning streak is now. I know that the last 2 years they went 14-0, and I think they've started out this year 3-0. So I guess by my math, that's 31 straight wins. As the first quarter comes to an end here at Akin Field. But you don't have to see the spread offense all the time at high school. It's good to see those old offenses back in vogue, if you will.
Yeah, back in my day, Brett, that was in the mid-'90s, early '90s. Wing tees, they were still running wishbone. A lot of I formation and pro set offenses, inverted, the veer, that kind of stuff was kind of like, I guess most teams ran. You saw very few spread them out kind of offenses.
Shotgun, pistol type stuff.
That was probably more like in the mid to late 2000s. You saw that kind of start to become more the norm. I personally love the offense. I played tackle, and I loved it when they would have me on the move, like a tackle trap play where I would lead one of the wing backs. That was always fun.
Showing your athleticism.
Yes, I could run in short bursts.
Yeah.
Let me clarify.
You can run, but I know you can't shoot a basketball.
No, not my game.
3rd and 16, and I think, are we going to get another false start here? Oh, Hortonville burning a timeout right away, so saw something they didn't like.
Brett, early score from Kaukauna. Kaukauna 16, Wisconsin Lutheran 0.
Okay.
That's with 4:41 left in the first quarter.
Yeah, you look at Kaukauna, very interesting schedule so far. Martin Luther, now Wisconsin Lutheran. I think they had Plymouth last week. Not your typical Fox Valley Association schedule for the Galloping Ghosts, but at this point you'll play whoever you can play. I saw a tweet from, speaking of athletic directors, Little Chute High School's Kelly Wallace. Mustangs now looking for a game next week.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think they were supposed to play Denmark, so it's going to be very interesting to see. That's why I could schedule a live stream game ahead of time, but chances are it won't happen. Okay, so coming off that timeout, 3rd and 16. Zuliger under center, rolls to his left, looking for something. A lot of stuff going on in that offensive line.
Yeah.
Some pretty good battles in the trenches. That pass a little off target, so 4th down coming, punt on the way.
So one of the guards for Xavier just plant a defensive lineman as Zuliger was rolling to his left. But incomplete pass, 4th and 16, and Hortonville, Brett, nice play by their defense to aided with some penalties there, but now their offense is going to get a chance to work with what you assume to be moderate field position.
I like to look at the game or watch the game in my binoculars. I've mentioned that many streams, and as I was watching Zuliger roll, I saw like a big flash of something happen.
Yes.
Kind of caught my attention. So then I could try to see what's going on at the line of scrimmage and watching the pass downfield.
A little pancake action going on. Where's the syrup, baby?
Woo.
Just getting that away.
Yeah, flag too. So we'll see what the call is, and Payne wisely gets away from
Zuliger did a good job there, Brad, because that could have been disaster, depending on what this flag is about. But the ball's going to be marked at about the 22, 23.
7-0 Hawks lead. Touchdown coming with 3:55 to play in the opening quarter. Ray Zuliger to Calamere's 19-yard hookup. And, yeah, we'll see what the call is here.
Well, it's on Xavier because they're talking to the Hortonville folks about what to do. They might have them re-kick it because –
well, yeah, you get better field position rather than being at the 17-yard line. So Official going to pick up the ball, and we're going to re-kick. Looks like a procedure call.
Yeah, smart decision.
Absolutely.
Now I was at 22. We'll see how much yardage they pick up, because I was going to be placed at the 22. Crisp night here, Friday night in Wisconsin. Already got leaves all over the place in my yard, Brett.
They come down quick.
Yeah.
It was just last week. Last Saturday we had to take a drive over to Stevens Point. The colors were fantastic.
I know.
Beautiful colors.
You tweeted out the pictures of the pizza you had at Bill's.
Bill's Pizza, our unofficial sponsor.
Taunting me and Rosie.
But had to help my mom out with a few things, so took a spin over there, and now all of a sudden, just like that, the leaves are off the tree. Nice high punt, but it's going to be much better field position.
Oh, man, they picked up at least 18 yards.
Yeah, spotted at about the 37-yard line. So a costly penalty there for the Hawks.
Yeah, they picked up 15 yards of field position, Brett, so that penalty costly for Xavier.
It's like they actually mark it at the 38, so 1st and 10 coming up for the Polar Bears. But, yeah. Well, it's been like gale force winds for like 4 straight days, so how are these leaves supposed to stay on the trees? Can we enjoy fall a little bit?
Yeah, my storm door, my front door almost came right off the hinges, Brett. You know, storm doors work, Brett, but their only flaw is that you have to have them connected. You have to have them latched in.
They need to be connected to the door jamb?
For some reason, me or my son did not do that.
Yeah, it's wind, and not a big fan of the wind. At all, but actually the wind has gone down here tonight as Hughes with the carry. About 2 yards. When I was getting ready to come drive to Hortonville, it was raining and pretty windy at my house. I'm like, boy, this is gonna be a rough night. And then little front move through. It's dry, and thankfully for Rosie, who's out there in the elements again, because he doesn't want to be up here with us.
No, you don't like us.
Big booth here. But luckily, if you look at the flags, they're pretty still. So all in all, not as bad as maybe I thought it was going to be when I hopped in the truck and started making that drive over here.
Oh.
I think that's going to be
nice.
On the
That's
Hawks.
Dodd. Yeah, that's Dodd doing his job there with the cadence.
Doing his Aaron Rodgers impression and getting him to jump offside. Should have snapped that ball and gotten a free play. Oh, I don't think you're allowed to do that in high school, though, are you?
No. Now, Brett, I was texting our friend Ken, the official.
Yeah.
And I told him to come on. He said he's watching the movie Coco with his kids. So,
He's had enough of us already?
No. It's just, sometimes Friday nights turn into kid movie night.
Well, maybe we need to pay him.
Maybe. It's Dodd rolling to his right.
He could run for the first down, and I think that's a good decision. Yeah, there was pretty good coverage downfield. Nowhere to throw. And a short run is all he needed to move the sticks. I saw that first down mark. Oh, are they going to spot it short?
I was going to say, it looked short a little bit.
I thought from back here he clearly got it, and they're going to move the sticks, so 1st and 10 coming up. That's okay. Hey, by the way, we were kind of talking last week in that Little Shoot Wrightstown game. We were kind of laughing about one of the punts.
Yeah.
Got an email. You were on that too, I
yes.
think. From I'll read what it says, but you kind of explaining again how that works as far as spotting the ball. Yeah, triangulation. And I told the person who emailed us that we kind of laugh a little bit about that from time to time. It looked like Max Strand was going to show blitz and nowhere to go. And that's going to be a big loss.
Hunter Strange on the carry, and that's going to be marked way back at the 44.
But Ron Joten emailed us and said, heard you discussing the spotting of the ball after a punt goes out of bounds. The procedure is when the referee sees the ball heading towards the sideline, he positions himself behind the punter and in direct line of the path of the ball. When the ball lands out of bounds, the nearest official to the punt receiver walks along the sideline with arm or hand raised. When he hits the location between the referee and the spot where the ball landed, the referee stops his motion, and that is where the ball is marked. Whoa, watch out. Oof. Skips that into the turf, but credit number 52, Nate Clemens, 6'1 senior, 235 pounds. He got in the backfield fast, and Dodd, Ricardo, had nowhere to throw.
Well, you want to talk about Xavier's offense, Brett, because of the fast start that Zuliger's had of the season, but really it's their defense that's setting the tempo.
They're fast.
Yes, very fast, very quick, and they can get pressure.
But how did you like thank you, Ron Joten, for watching tonight. We appreciate it. But
that's pretty much similar to what Ken the official had talked about.
I'm still trying to
That was a couple years ago he explained it.
Yeah, I'm still trying to see it and make it make sense in my head.
You kind of got the beautiful mind thing going on, trying to have all those formulas.
I will tell people not a big mechanical mind, so and I feel like that's a kind of a mechanical thing to try to figure out if you're a referee. But they do a great job. 3rd and long coming up as Dodd drops back. He's going to go deep downfield. He has a receiver. Nope, almost picked.
Nice defensive play, Brad. Number 80.
That was Zuliger. Zuliger was the one who almost intercepted it. For the
sorry.
Hawks.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, Zuliger, because I think it was Aiden Leist, I think is, yeah. Junior receiver. Seemed like Zuliger saw that before Aiden
did.
And
Zuliger almost coming up with the big turnover. Instead, 4th down coming up, so punt for the Polar Bears. And I think that, again, Sam Oswald back to receive for the Hawks. There's a good look at him. Rosie always making sure that he's got the camera on the right person. There's a punt by Payne. And I think Oswald just going to let that ball bounce. Looked like that ball could have bounced a few more yards back. So
he picked it up a little too quick. But either way, the ball's going to be at the 23-yard line. 9:22 left in the first half. That's where Xavier again will start on offense.
Again, appreciate everybody checking us out online tonight. Nice viewing audience on a very chilly evening. But good to be here at Akin Field, and I guess the official name is Wolf River Community Bank Stadium at Akin Field, kind of like Bank of Kaukauna Stadium for the Ghosts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Except they don't have their field name. Akin Field's been the name here for forever it seems like. Zuliger and the Hawks start it off, and Zuliger keeps it. I thought Strand maybe had it, but I think he and Strand were trying to wrestle with who's actually going to keep the ball. Zuliger with the run.
Yeah, it's very close to a first down. It's right at the 33. And we'll see what the officials say. Are they going to bring out the chains? Oh, they're calling it a first down. Okay, so it's 10-yard gain for Zuliger.
Good run by Zuliger, and I give him even more credit for winning that wrestling battle with Max Strand.
Yeah, good way to describe it. First down and 10 at the 33 for the Hawks.
There's a clean handoff to Strand. Boy, they are keying on big number 44, aren't they? Whole bunch of red jerseys surrounding Max Strand, and no gain on that play. Well, maybe I'll give him a yard. Maybe a couple yards.
2 yards.
Second and 8. Just waiting for that down marker to set where the spot of the ball is. So 2nd and 8 coming up. But not a whole lot of running room for Strand tonight. He had that big one here at the end of the first quarter. I think it was about a 17-yard run. And nope, good ball fake by Zuliger. But look at that pursuit, 42.
Got away, though.
How did Zuliger get out of there? But you got to give number 42 for the Polar Bears, August Maurer, credit. Just a sophomore, but a 6'3", 190-pound defensive lineman. We're talking about defensive speed. He got back there quickly and forced Zuliger out on the run. Credit Zuliger for picking up something out of nothing, but 3rd down coming up now. Big play for the Hawks and the Polar Bears defensively.
Zuliger with the nice spin. He's very how do you describe it? He's very slithery. You know what I mean?
Slippery?
Slippery, yes. He gets out of those tackle attempts. Very good athlete, just outstanding athlete. Zuliger, 3-year starter. Coach Hankins was really excited to see what he could do this season. 3rd down and 3, nearing the 8-minute mark here in the first half.
Zuliger hand off to big Max Strand, and if you need a few yards, just give it to number 44. He's going to pick up 5 and move the chains. Ball will be at the 45-yard line.
Strand, as we know, one of the top linebackers. I think he's voted the top, or now he was declared the top senior linebacker in the state by WisSports.net, Brett, in the player rankings. The guy's being coveted by a lot of big D1 programs. I know the Badgers are.
He hasn't
committed yet. Hasn't committed yet. But he's going to be a good one. I really think he has the mentality, the work ethic to really, and the physical talent to really excel at the next level. 1st and 10 at the 45. Zuliger.
Ooh, watch out. He's got his receiver. There's Mayers again. And Mayers with the speed, Ricardo, he is in. That's 55 yards. Wow.
Brett, again, a bit of a slow developing play. There's a lot going on there. The offensive line for Xavier doing a very good job against a very active Hortonville front. 55-yard touchdown pass. Mares is second of the game.
I think kind of what sells that, though, is there's a ball fake. It looks like a little play action off of that. And then Mares, he's got some wheels. He got, again, behind the defense, and Zuliger just lost a nice, beautiful pass in the middle of the field. And once Mares had it, he just turned on the jets. Nobody was going to catch him. And 55 yards later, there is a touchdown. And the PAT is good.
Well, we know Xavier's no joke. That offense can move it against anybody. And there you showed again, Brett, the patience and the trust that they have in their offensive line for that play to develop. Hey, Brett, by the way, got a tweet from Chris Genrick, the wrestling coach at Hortonville, said, hey, he's staying dry. And that he's kind of watching and just letting us know. A little bit of a shout-out to him.
Appreciate that. Yeah, he's probably nice and toasty in front of that fireplace, right? I had a delicious fish fry. I'm trying to set the scene for Chris as he's watching tonight, but we appreciate that.
I've called him many times the best-dressed wrestling coach in the state. Always looks dapper.
Very snazzy.
Down at the individual state tournament.
We appreciate him letting us use his wrestling room when we stream basketball games here at Hortonville. That's where we always set up. Isn't that right, Rosie? Got to run that Ethernet cable all like 4 miles away. That's okay. As long as we can stream a game here, we're good. We love coming here. Always fun coming to Hortonville. They treat us very well. Same with Xavier, though. They always roll out the red carpet, too, at either Rocky Blair Field or Torchy Clark Gym. So many good venues here in the Fox Valley as Hughes with the catch at about the 7-yard line, looking for some space. And he's going to push that pile past the 30-yard line. We'll see where they spot it. But it's kind of time for this Hortonville offense to start clicking. But, we said no Parker Lawrence, one of the top receivers, certainly in the Fox Valley. That's a weapon that's a costly loss, being out with a broken collarbone.
Very true, Brett. But I would say that Hortonville is very confident with Chase Hughes and the other guys that they have.
TJ Payne, yeah.
TJ Payne. I mean, they have enough talent. Now it's a matter of them putting things together, building it brick by brick, because you don't want to get it to where it's possibly a 3-score game going into halftime.
Yeah, 7:21 to go. We'll see maybe if Hortonville can maybe get that running game going here a little bit too, and put it on that offensive line a little bit. See if they can get a push and see what Sam Dodd does first as he drops back. Pretty good protection, and there's a nice little pass play to number 28 for the Polar Bears. That's Hunter Strange, 5'8" junior.
Eight-yard gain, Brett, about bringing up a 2nd and 2. We're talking about the wing T. You ever think there'll ever be sometimes the thing's cyclical? Is that going to be something we see, more wishbone?
I want to see stuff like they run from the 1930s.
The single wing?
Eventually come back. You see those old NFL films of Don Hudson or whatever, and these crazy. How about the drop kick?
That and the jump pass.
Everything comes back, they say, right?
2nd and 2 from the 40.
It's like fashion. Let's see you, Ricardo, on some bell bottoms. Dodd going deep downfield, looking for his receiver almost.
He had it in his hands, but that was a nice defensive play. Was that Oberbrunner?
That's Max Oberbrunner again, yeah. So he and Payne having a nice little battle. And Oberbrunner really tight in coverage. Well, Payne had a shot at it, though.
You were talking about offenses. I remember the Ripon High School team back when I was editor at Fond du Lac, and I covered those guys extensively. They ran a single wing with Gordy who he coached at Ripon College.
Gillespie?
Yes.
Yeah.
He ran the old Red Hawks offense from way back when, and no one knew how to defend it because they hadn't seen it in decades.
Yeah.
Well,
remember last week when we did the Little Shoot Wrightstown game? Whoa, nice hands by Dodd, and wow! Oh, I thought it was caught. Nope, incomplete.
I thought it was picked.
So 4th down coming.
Well, yeah, you talked about Wrightstown. They ran the T formation.
Right, and Little Shoot coach Ted Evers told me in an email, I was asking for some information about the game. He said, is it a tough offense to prepare for? Because you just don't, see more spread now. You don't see just that smash mouth type offense like Wrightstown runs, or as you're mentioning here, the wing T for the Hawks. And another thing to consider, Ricardo, how tough is it for these teams when there's a last-second change and all of a sudden, how do you prepare?
Good call.
They're preparing for Wausau West. Next thing you know, here we're going to see.
Here we go, Brett. Triangulation, and that was Brett a 13, 12, a 10.
And he's going to
10-yard
spot it
punt.
right at the 50. So anyway, all of a sudden then you have to switch gears. And you don't have a whole lot of time to either side to prepare for your new opponent. I mean, there were some teams, I think Lourdes had to get ready to play somebody brand new like within a day.
Days. Yes.
So it's just crazy. So when you throw that in, going against a challenging offense that you're not used to seeing on top of not having your normal prep time, makes it tough.
Well, right at midfield here with 6:58 left in the second quarter. 14-0 lead for the Hawks. So great field position for Xavier as they start.
Speaking of Lourdes, they're down 12-zip to New Holstein.
Oh, wow.
The Huskies. Zuliger keeps it and has a nice little seam to dive across the 45 down to about the 43-yard line. So a nice 7-yard gain for Zuliger and the Hawks. And
yeah, Max Strand really sells that because he was feigning carrying the ball for about 10, 15 yards down the field.
Well, I tell you what, big spot for this Hortonville defense right now. You got to get off the field. Like you said, you cannot go down 3 scores going into the half.
Second and short for Xavier. Strand right behind Zuliger in the wing T offense.
Whoa.
Oh, he's packed. Oh, look at Strand.
He just moved.
Yeah.
I think they're going to spot him just shy of the first down stick, but boy, that was a good effort by Strand because I thought he was going to be dropped either for no gain or maybe even a loss, but showing the power. He spent a few hours in the weight room, I'm going to say.
A little bit.
So I guess it's 3rd and officially 1, but as you can see, ball a half yard away from the first down, and I think this has to be number 44 going to get the carry here. So 3rd down, let's see. Oh, was there a fumble? Let's see who's got it.
And Hortonville's saying they have it.
Yeah, and the Hawks, though, Cal Mares is saying they have it. Let's see. No, the Hawks got it back.
Oh, wow. And it was number 6, Oswald, who recovered it, Brett.
That was bouncing a little bit on that turf, and you got to wonder, too, a cool night, that ball's going to be a little slick, so we might see that a few times tonight, but no harm, no foul for Xavier. They move the chains, 1st and 10 inside the 40 at the 39, and clock running.
Missed opportunity for Hortonville, Brett. Boy, that would have really turned momentum to the Polar Bears side.
Zuliger hands off Strand. Ooh, that ball looked like it was kind of slipping a little bit. And look at Strand powering his way, moving the pile down to about the 15-yard line. I think he carried about 3 or 4 guys about 10 yards. Just kept those legs churning. Ball's going to be at the 15.
It's one of those Mike Allstott kind of runs back in the day with the Buccaneers.
Oh, they're going to move it back to the 16 instead. So
23-yard gain, but I bet you he carried a bunch of Polar Bear defenders for about, 15 of those yards.
And maybe a few of his guys, too, that were trying to move the pile a little bit. I think you give it right back to him. He's kind of getting going a little bit. Strand has it. And there's number 30 getting real low for the Polar Bears. That's Ben Bulow, senior linebacker for the Polar Bears, and bringing down Strand, which is not easy to do, but looks like Mac got a couple yards on that run. So inside the 15, they'll spot it at the 14. Clock continues to run here at Akin Field, and boy, this is a big moment really again for both teams. Xavier can go up 3 scores. You got to be feeling great. Polar Bears need some sort of a stop.
Second and 8.
Ooh, watch out! Who's got it? Zuliger kept it.
him and
Strand are. I think they're going to get into a little bit of a brawl here.
Yeah, they're like the Gemini sign. They're kind of just joined at the hip.
They're fighting for that football. Who wants it? Ball's going to be marked at the 10, 3rd down. But again, that's where those turnovers can happen. So if you're on the defensive side and you're going against this offense, what do you focus on at the snap? What are you trying to see? Because there is some deception there.
There's some misdirection going on, but so far I think Xavier, though, has pretty much stayed true to form in terms of keeping it within the tackles. Yes, there's been some misdirection on play action passes, but for the most part, they've just lined it up and said, hey, we're just going to run it right by you or run it right to you.
I just think defensively that's tough to try to focus who has the football. I guess you just got to play your keys, as they like to say, is look at Strand still trying to move the pile, and he's going to be stopped shy, and you got a decision here for Dave Hinkins. You kick the field goal and take a 3-score lead.
So I don't know if that's going to pay off later, Brett, because we talked about the motion and stuff, but it still went up the middle. You see, now I wonder if that's going to pay off in one of those big perimeter runs later in the game.
Now Zuliger over at the sideline talking to the coaching staff. I'm guessing Xavier's going to let the clock run and burn a timeout, talk things over here.
Yes.
4th and 1 coming up, ball at the 7-yard line. So it looks like, at least for now, Xavier going to go for it.
This is a prime opportunity for the Hortonville defense to completely change tone, Brett.
And the Hawks call their first timeout of the half. But again, if you're on defense and you're lining up and Zuliger doing a good job of really sticking that football in we'll say Max Strand's belly, what are you focusing on at that time? You gotta know where to go. I guess just gap discipline and
just try to defeat your man at the point, and then bottle up the runner whenever you can. This is. Again, Hortonville, I'm sure, does not go against a team that runs the wing T. I guess
there's nobody in the FVA or the VFA because they're supposed to actually be in the Valley Football Association. Remember, it was Hortonville and Appleton West going and playing the central schools: DC Everest, Rapids, Marshfield, Spash, Wausau West.
Now I do know DC Everest from talking to their coach that they run a I formation pro set, so that's not a wing T. That's line them up and just blow you off the ball.
Yeah.
So
good to see the Evergreens doing well. Remember when I was. Growing up, they were one of the gold standards. I believe it was. Oh,
their coach, I can't remember.
Was it Wayne
his name.
Steffenhagen?
Steffenhagen, yes.
Yeah.
Got them a state title in the early 2000s.
So
4th and 1.
Yeah, they're
going for the field goal.
Kick the field goal. Looks like we'll call it a 23-yarder. Kick is up. I think that's a good decision, Ricardo. You go up 3 scores. That's good for Seidler.
You said it was 23 yards?
Yeah. When you got a field goal kicker you're comfortable with, he looks like he's got a good leg. Rather than take a chance with a fumble or getting stopped, to take that 3-score lead with 2:33 to play here in this opening half and hope that your defense now can finish the job. You go in that locker room pretty happy. Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining. And knock on wood, but a pretty fast-moving first half, which I know Rosie down there in the bleachers will very much appreciate because I think he's frozen already. He's got it all on. He's got the mask. He's got the long johns on. He's good to go.
Now that drive took 4.5 minutes off the clock, Brett. So another good drive for Xavier.
And that's Payne with the return for the Polar Bears.
Oh,
going a long way. Watch out. He's in the open field looking for a seam. I think he's going to go inside. Yes, he is in for the score. I didn't see exactly.
90
yards. Call it 90 yards. Wow. How about Payne working his way to the other side of the field, and you talk about somebody with some speed. Turned it on, kind of zigged and zagged his way, went back into the middle of the field, and then it was a foot race. Almost got dropped about by the 10-yard line, but he finishes it off, and that was a much-needed spark from the special teams. And that got the Hortonville fans fired up in front. And let's see if that kick goes. And that's going to be no good. Looked like that was Drew Klein, the junior kicker, just didn't have enough to punch it through. So with 22:17 remaining, I should say, in the second quarter, 17-6 lead for the Hawks on that 90-yard kickoff return by TJ Payne. There he is, getting some congratulations on the sideline, some fist bumps. the spark they needed, Ricardo.
Yeah, they did. I'm updating my Twitter, by the way. You can follow me at PC Ricardo. Brett's at PC Brettsy, and Rosie's at Metal Rosie.
Got a text from our colleague Mike Sherry. He says, tell Rosie it could be worse. There was a heavy rain, hail, sleet mix at his house about 30 minutes ago. Lasted about 5 minutes. That's over in Appleton.
Oh, wow.
Good thing we're in Hortonville tonight because Rosie is not protected.
Oh, Rosie.
He is not protected. And that's going to be Oswald now with a chance to answer. He's got a seam for the Hawks and finally pushed out of bounds at the 45. So we're seeing some explosive stuff on the kickoff return units from both teams in pretty good field position now for the Hawks to answer. A lot of time left, 2:10 to play here, and with 2 timeouts to use up as well. 45-yard line is where they'll spot it.
The very minimum, that kickoff return, Brett, breathed some life to the Polar Bears. I believe they get the ball to start the second half.
Well, down to a 2-score game again, so let's see what Xavier now can do. Here's the thing, the Polar Bear defense has got to get off the field, and they have been doing that on occasion, so let's see. They can maybe give their offense a chance to even put another one on the board, but oh boy, watch out. Max Strand finally dropped down. I think it was Brady Morak, the sophomore defensive back, just got low.
Oh, and Strand is limping, Brett.
Yeah, he took one kind of in the legs there. Maybe hopefully it's just more of a shin and not a knee. It's a good tackle. And if he doesn't make that tackle right now, Strand is celebrating in the end zone because he had a full head of steam. Big run to start this series. 1st and 10 ball at the 32.
23-yard run for Strand as we'll see if he does return.
Good play action. Zuliger looking downfield, looking for Oswald and out of bounds. So I think that was number 24, Francis O'Connor, a senior defensive back for the Polar Bears, trying to stick with Oswald. Did a good job and nowhere for Zuliger to go, so he just kind of wisely throws it out of bounds with 1:35 to play.
Second down and 10 from the 32. 1:35 left here in the second quarter. 17-6 lead for Xavier. Hawks trying to add a quick score before the end of the half.
Ooh, nice job with the handoff. That's number 15 on a real nice run, Sam Loken, and that's going to be a first down. Ball at the 21-yard line. Trying to get a look over on the sideline and see what how things are looking with Strand. He looks like he's ready to go back in. Probably just got again, that shin maybe banged into a little bit, but looks like he's looking at his coaches saying, hey, let me play.
1st and 10 at the 21 for Xavier.
There's Loken again, finding a night. Boy, nice job by that front, really opening up some lanes for these running backs, and right now getting a great push, and Loken with another big run.
8-yard carry, so 2 carries for 19 yards for Loken.
Yeah, down to the 13-yard line. And clock is running under a minute. Again, 2 timeouts to use for the Hawks. They're quickly back to the line of scrimmage, and let's see what Zuliger does. Zuliger hands off to Loken again. Big push again on the right side of that line, and he's dragging a few defenders inside the 5. And I'm guessing Dave Hinkins is going to want to use a timeout. Clock stops to reset, and they just have to move the down marker there because it's 1st and goal. And nope, clock's going to continue to run. So ball is at the 4-yard line. Actually, I'm going to call it the 3. That's where the down marker's set up. Let's see what Loken. Nope, Zuliger's going to keep it. Wrestled down. I think that was 88 again. We've called his name a few times. Brady Mashlin, the junior defensive lineman, bringing down Zuliger, and now a timeout for the Hawks.
Loken, I want to say, is a younger brother of Anna Loken, the former great softball player for Xavier.
Yeah, we're getting old when the siblings are not coming through, and and next thing you know, they're going to have kids that will be coming through, and you're going to be old and gray.
Hey, as long as I'm above ground, I'm fine with that.
Easy. Second and goal, ball at the 3. So 1 timeout remaining, 22.6 seconds to go, and boy, how big of a drive would this be after that 90-yard kickoff return for the Polar Bears by T.J. Payne?
Yeah, well, for both sides. If you're Hortonville, you just want to limit them to a field goal at this point.
Touchdown really pops the balloon as far as feeling good about yourself going to the locker room. We get up a late touchdown, and really most of the damage, all of the damage, been on the ground. Strand back in for the Hawks, so good to see he's feeling better. And I have a feeling,
just give it right to him.
I think he's going to get it. And Strand has it, powers his way into the end zone, touchdown. He looked like he was going to be stopped, but just too strong, Strand, and that's a 3-yard score. And that is a big answer for the Hawks. That's his first touchdown of the night. And if you're Dave Hinkins, Ricardo, you're thinking perfect. 17 seconds left. And the PAT is good. Boy, big first half for that Xavier offense. They got a nice text here, Ricardo, from our friend Adam Van Handel. He's watching the game on his big screen TV. Took a picture there. Looks good. Hey, Rosie, check this out. Look at how sharp that looks. I know that's going to make Rosie real happy. So thanks for watching tonight's game, Adam. We appreciate that. And I don't know, Ricardo's can lightning strike twice here for the Polar Bears. I would imagine that the Hawks now just going to kind of pooch this, not give any sort of a return chance. More of a squib, more a line drive type thing. Certainly don't want to kick it to Payne again, who is coming off that 90-yard kickoff return a couple minutes ago. Well, they are going to kind of kick it downfield, so that's Hughes now with the return, and he's still on his feet. Finally brought down with 11.3 seconds to go, and I guess Hortonville with 2 timeouts and a quarterback that can sling it downfield. You never know.
Well, I think in this instance it's a little bit too far, but yeah. They do get the ball in the second half. That's imperative for them. It starts to have a nice, regroup at the halftime, come back out strong in the second half and try to get things going. Here you don't want to do anything that could lead to a turnover, Brett, in my opinion.
Dodd, just a handoff to Hughes, who's looking for some space, still on his feet, cutting it back, coming. Now he turns the other way.
A little water bug, he can dart everywhere.
And that is how the first half ends here at Akin Field. Big first half for the Hawks. They're going to take a 24-6 lead into the break. Very impressive, Ricardo.
Xavier is every good as we thought they were. Hinkins talked about them being a very special team this year, and I see it, Brett. You can see on the defensive end, especially on the offensive end, with what they can do with their playmakers, especially at the running back position, and then the deep ball that they can get off on that wing T offense. But they're very, very versatile, very dangerous.
Well, and again, I guess it brings back an old Dick Bennett quote, quality basketball knows no divisions, but very impressive for a school the size of Xavier to come in here and really taking it to an FVA team.
Yeah, Xavier, 501 enrollment over there on Prospect.
Again, Xavier 3-0 entering tonight's action. Hortonville 2-1. week 4 of the football season here in the state of Wisconsin. 3 more regular season games to go. Have they WIA have they made a determination, Ricardo? I haven't seen as far as what's going to happen postseason wise.
I have not seen anything on that. Brett, by the way, but halftime Brilliant 33, KLC 8 according to Tom Dombeck. I don't know who KLC is. That Kohler.
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Let's see if we have anything else here.
Nothing in the county end game.
Oh, I'll look that up too. Halftime Berlin 8, Sheboygan Falls 8, Freedom 9. Little Shoot 6, Brett. That's according to our friend Doug Ritchie.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like when Little Shoot and Wrightstown played. There's always you get those 3 teams taking each other on. They're always great battles, regardless of the sport. Actually, in the week 7, we're going to be at Wrightstown for the Freedom Wrightstown game to close the regular season. That could be for the Northeastern Conference Championship.
Now, Brett, why don't you set up our ticker?
Yeah, we're not doing the ticker anymore. we tried that. Actually, week 1 we didn't end up streaming a game. We were supposed to stream a game at Kokana, but it got canceled like Thursday afternoon, and it was just way too late to try to reschedule. So we tried to. Rosie tried to work me like a dog on week 2, and I couldn't even pay attention to the game. I'm trying to update all these scores on a ticker, and I was making mistakes and missing a game call, and I said, that's it. The ticker is what we see on Twitter.
Brett, Wrightstown's up over FVL 21-0 at the half. And Kokano's now up 29-0 over Wisconsin Lutheran. Kokano looking good.
Yeah, and nice to see the seniors getting a chance to be honored here tonight. Well, you know anybody who is at a game, or send us a tweet at PCBrettsy, at PCRicardo. Check the hashtag HSSWI. There aren't a ton of games going on, I guess, but we're all interested in anything we can see from any of our teams or any games of statewide interest. I know that Amherst and Stratford, I believe, are playing tonight. That's a big game in our central markets.
It is, yes,
I think
very
that's
big.
Up at Stratford. So actually, that was a game that Mike Sherry, again, our colleague, said, hey, maybe you want to consider that, and I did. The problem is I don't know what kind of press box accommodations they have at the Stratford High School football field. You've been there. You've seen their, at least their wrestling room, I think you said. That's just, a little north of Marshfield?
Yeah, and while their facilities are nice with their wrestling team, I didn't get a chance to see their football team stadium or up close. So.
Well, I did, one of those satellite looks at the field, and I was like, I don't know if that's going to work for it. We streamed a game at Amherst a few years ago. That worked for us. That was the Amherst Springs game. But with everything that's going on outside of football, I thought let's just keep it here in the Fox Valley, and we had a good one here tonight. Very happy that again we get a chance to see these 2 teams play.
Amherst leads 14-7 at the half, Brett, according to Mike Sherry.
Okay, good. Thank you, Mike, for letting us know how that big game is going. And I guess this gives us an opportunity to kind of plug ourselves again. On Monday, we resume Clubhouse Live. That's our weekly Packer show, virtual this year.
Yes.
For obvious reasons, but Green Bay Packers wide receiver Alan Lazard is our co-host. Now he's a little dinged up. He's on the mend and should be back on the field here pretty soon. But really been fun to get to know him. So check it out Mondays at 6:30. You can watch it live online, any of our USA Today Network Wisconsin websites, including clubhouselive.com. Also, all of our Facebook pages, facebook.com/clubhouselive or facebook.com/PackersNews, postcrescent.com, any site you'll be able to find it. And this week's guest, Monday's guest, will be rookie tight end Josiah DeGuara. Now, unfortunately, DeGuara just recently placed on IR because he tore an ACL, but it was really off to a nice start. It looked really strong, and hopefully he can get healed up. But sometimes those are my favorite shows because it's always fun to get to know the new guys, and more times than not, they have a pretty interesting story to tell. So looking forward to that. Again, 6:30, you can register to win prizes in real time. And Ricardo, I know you're running the live chat on that as well, so ask questions in real time, and maybe the guys will answer. So looking forward. After we had our bye last week, no show because of the Packers bye. We'll see how the Packers fare on Sunday afternoon against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and talk about how that game went down. Good news for fans, though. 2 weeks ago when we asked Alan about his injury, Lazard says it's going to be a pretty short recovery, so I think he's expecting to be back on the field. I think he has to miss one more game after next week, or after Sunday, so they play the Texans next week. He'll miss that game, and then he's eligible to return off IR, so maybe he'll be back on the field quicker than a lot of people thought. He seemed to be in pretty good spirits and pretty confident.
So what's that next game after the Texans? At the Vikings?
I think it's Vikings at Lambeau.
Wow, they play the Vikings twice in the first 7 weeks.
Before they play even your Bears.
Yes, true. That's odd. Isn't that a bit of an odd scheduling quirk?
It is, yeah. Well, it's that's how the NFL is sometimes. And now the NFL has to do a lot of reshuffling. Like the high school ranks with some of these positive tests that have been coming through.
They should have, and I think I tweeted this, they should have, going into the season with the COVID thing, should have done it like in the mid-2000s, early 2000s when they had 2 bye weeks.
Yeah.
Each team had 2 bye weeks. Then forget about the Pro Bowl. Then you have more flexibility.
You don't need a Pro Bowl this year.
Yeah,
not in these circumstances. Plus, I guess that is a pretty big deal for Super Bowl week and everything, but you should be able to have some flexibility to move that back too. You're just gonna these cities are gonna have to be flexible on how this is all going down. I think, but you're right. 2 bye weeks, have an 18-week schedule. One thing you can't do, and I know people like to talk about it on Twitter, is they should have been in a bubble. Did you see some of the NBA comments about being in a bubble? That was not easy. They were in a bubble for 90 days, the Lakers, or something close to, and then LeBron said it felt like it was 5 years. And of course, people are saying, "Well, woe is me. You were in a facility, a top-notch Disney resort, but try staying away from your family for 3-4 months. Not easy." And I didn't sound like that was something that was going to be an option moving forward for the NBA to play a season in a bubble or some sort of a season in a bubble. I think sometimes fans forget that as much as we want to be entertained, that those are human beings as well with families and kids, and trying to play in a bubble a little bit more difficult too when you're talking about an NFL team that has 63 guys or whatever it is with the practice squad and all the coaching staff and support staff. I just think you have to grind through it, and I think so far so good. The NFL's doing. I think not to get off on a tangent, but I see these. Everybody likes to be angry on Twitter. The NFL's doing a terrible job. Well, what are they supposed to do? I mean, you can't give teams 4 or 5 bye weeks throughout the course of a season. I think they're doing everything they can. Actually, I'm impressed that we're already in week 6.
Actually, I wanted to send some kudos out. I know the Xavier golfer won the Division II state championship individual title.
That Lauren Hain.
Lauren Hain, thank you, Brett. I had a brain lapse there. I couldn't remember, but what a outstanding performance by her. And I know it was Fukamad who won it a few years ago as well. So Xavier has really had some success at the individual level for their girls golf team. So congratulations to Lauren on that.
I'm sorry, I got a text from Mike Sherry. Sign away from my family for 4 months. Sign me up.
I was the other day, just yesterday actually, I went to go to my ex-wife's house. We had a little conference for my son, and it's a parents-teacher conference thing over Zoom, and I saw him walking the dog, walking his dog Tucker with I think Jenna was with him, his daughter Jenna. So that was kind of cool to see. The dog went from puppy to full-grown dog pretty quick.
So what else you got going on, Ricardo? I know we don't have Varsity Roundtable this year just because of what's been happening.
Yeah, and it's just it would have been, I think, more of a. I think the part of the allure, if I'm using the right word, of the roundtable is actually having it kind of in-house with the whole team. It's kind of you kind of lose that if you try to do it over Zoom. But you're right. I do hope to get the R&B Show podcast though going again. Yeah. Relatively soon as we kind of transition into possibly winter sports. So that's something that hopefully we'll get going in the next couple of weeks. I know you're trying to take vacation and things like that, so that's always something to kind of try to maneuver around.
Yeah, but yeah, that'd be kind of fun at least to get the R&B show going again. I understand what you're saying with the round table. Normally that's Wednesday. that would be Wednesdays, and maybe in the spring
Oh, I'd love to get it back going.
Kind of get it going. I'm not sure we're going to get it going in the wintertime, but
I wasn't particularly pleased at how we would do a roundtable with Zoom. I just don't think that's like I said. I just think it's a better presentation with a live audience.
It is. I mean, Rosie would have done a great job of setting up some sort of
that I have no doubt, but it just
interface,
it's not the roundtable, it's the round screen. So then it not the same thing, but yeah, but then we also have we still have our Elite 11 Terrific 10 out there, Rosie. Please go check that out. I did some recaps of the 11 athletes on football, the 10 athletes on girls volleyball. So go check that out. That's on postcrescent.com now. So you have to go into postcrescent.com, look under sports, and look under varsity, and you should see those still hanging around because those are subscription-only kind of things. Which, by the way, heck of a deal to come and subscribe to the Post Crescent, Brett, postcrescent.com. If you don't, is it still the $1 thing going on?
I have to check. I know that we have different offers, but it's very reasonable. Let's just put it that way. And you can go to the homepage. I think it's on the upper right, and you click on subscribe, or there's a menu option up there, and it takes you to the page. And yeah, please support local journalism. Obviously, it's always important, but it seems a little bit more important now than ever before with everything that's been going on in 2020. I forget who I was talking to that said that normally he hates the month of January, and January is my least favorite month. But this year, just to get 2020 out of the picture and a new year, hopefully it'll be a little bit more of a fresh start, and we'll kind of get some of this nonsense behind us. Hey, Mike Bates at Xavier High School. We work with Mike. His wife is Kathy Bates, the athletic director. Sent me he heard us talking about the playoffs. Sent me some information. In 2020, there will be 2 rounds of a WIAA culminating event instead of the traditional WIA playoff format. This is what the form says from Mike. Obviously, due to the change with COVID-19. More information will be announced during the fall of 2020. Teams participating in the 2020 postseason will be seeded on Saturday, November 7th by a new WIAA computer program.
That's right. I knew they had moved that last year. They had voted on that.
So level 1 will take place either Friday or Saturday, November 13th or 14th. And then level 2, Thursday or Friday, November 19th or the 20th. So thank you to Mike for sending that information to us. Yeah, I'm gonna miss that trip to Camp Randall. And I know you're gonna miss eating those hot dogs and that popcorn.
Well, maybe not the hot dogs. I only had one last year. The human flesh colored hot dogs.
I don't know why you would do that at all. I remember going. I think that was last year. I refused to touch them.
Well, I had one when they just brought them out, so they were fresh, relatively fresh.
Yeah, I refuse.
But
even, then I don't care.
When they've been sitting there for about 5 or 6 hours, they start turning a very odd color. Like I would describe it as when you bruise yourself, and the color of that on pale skin is what it looks like. It's kind of disconcerting.
I would refuse to eat that. So what I did, I found a McDonald's on the ride home, laid at ride back to my hotel actually after the first night, and I think I had like an egg McMuffin or something. I was refusing to eat those flesh-colored hot dogs.
Well, see, I thought maybe you would have done what you normally do, is just. Oh wait, I guess it would have been open. Your Jimmy John's. That's your favorite place to go to.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh wait, no, I'm getting it mixed up. It was state basketball where I did that. I was getting late. No, state football. You're right. I did wait because I had to. My son attended Madison last year, and he needed some stuff at his dorm, so I dropped some stuff off and then picked up Jimmy John's. It's right by the stadium. Good. See, you remember. You remember more than me.
Smart as a chimp over here.
Whatever. Regardless, I'm just saying I ain't touching the hot dogs.
Yeah.
I'll eat the popcorn, but
no. But actually, last year they had bratwurst though.
Oh, did they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that either.
Oh,
that would kill my stomach. I have a very tender stomach.
You're getting older. Typical with men of advancing age.
Yeah, well, you're not too far away
no,
from
I'm
me.
Not.
So already looking forward to that big bowl of cereal when I get home tonight. But anyway, going to miss that trip to Camp Randall. That was always fun. You, me, Mike Sherry would be there. And was that the same time, or was that basketball season where we went to the Denny's where they had a full-time 24-hour cop making sure that nothing crazy happened there.
I think that was basketball.
Well, I felt real safe eating that night. It's like, well, I guess we're safe, but why does this place need a cop here all the time? Hopefully, we can make a trip to Madison in the spring, March time, and do some tournament basketball.
What it reminds me is that the basketball season is relatively close, and that means that we have to start putting together our Fab Five, Rosie. Look at them. I'm going to try to have the kids come in one by one to the office instead of trying to do it on site again. Rosie did a great job with the terrific 10 and Elite 11, but making 21 trips to various schools was difficult to kind of coordinate, so I want to make it easier on everyone.
Well, some decisions are going to have to be made, and some tough ones here fairly soon when it comes to the winter season. These athletic directors, I do not envy them at all. I mentioned that to Kelly Wallace last week at Little Shoot. I said, you guys have a tough job when it's regular, when it's just a normal season. Now with the COVID stuff and rescheduling and now trying to make a determination of what do you do in winter. We were talking, and my suggestion was, why don't you just wait till after the holidays? You know, that's kind of a weird, funky time anyway. There's not a lot. I mean, there's games going on in different things, but it really doesn't really kick into gear until after the new year, and then you have a kind of a really regular schedule. We're sometimes streaming a couple basketball games a week. You know, why not let's see if this kind of tapers off a little bit?
Agree. You know, I fully agree with what your idea would be.
Unfortunately, you have to be more of a shortened season again, but maybe that's just the best way, because you would like to think by January that the numbers we're seeing right now in the state will have subsided a bit.
But at least we know for sure that our streaming will be complete all season, because we will be doing spring football, Brett.
Yeah, we can talk about that maybe during the second half. I have your article here about the 20-team conference and the 5-game regular
Super
season.
conference.
Some interesting. There's a ton of great matchups every week, but there's still the unknowns to that. You know, with weather and with what's going on. Is it going to subside? I mean, I think everybody's just frustrated, tired, mentally drained by all of this stuff. I think you and I both were like everybody else. I think we thought when this started in March, there's no way we're going to be dealing with this in October going into November. So what is going to happen in spring football? Will it go? I hope so. Love to see those great matchups, but barely know what we're going to be doing next week at this time, let alone what's going to happen in March. So stay tuned for that, but we'll talk about that. A bunch of things to get to here in the second half as we're about ready to get underway at Akin Field.
Again, a very important first drive for Hortonville, because they're down 24-6. As I see Chase Hughes back there, along with TJ Payne, who had a 90-yard touchdown return off a kickoff. So there's some explosiveness in the back there for Hortonville. But they need points, in my opinion, on this drive.
Agreed, yeah. Big start here.
Hughes still on his feet, getting it past the 30. And they'll place the ball just shy of the 35, right at the 34.
Looking at the first half scoring, Xavier touchdown passes, a pair from Zuliger to Mares, 19 and 55 yards. Of course, Max Strand with a 3-yard run, and A.J. Seidler with a 23-yard field goal, and T.J. Payne with a 90-yard kickoff return for the Polar Bears. And there's a toss to Hughes, trying to make that turn. Boy, how about the pursuit from number 11 for Xavier? Trent Twombly, the senior, got there very fast. Hughes was trying to make that turn instead of a gain. It's going to be a 2-yard loss, Ricardo. Xavier showing that defensive speed yet again.
Call it a three-yard loss. 2nd and 13 at the 31 for Hortonville. Again, very, very good Xavier defense. It's a shame we didn't see them over an entire season, Brad. They really had a shot in D4.
Yeah, isn't that something? I was thinking that same thing. Of all years when you look like you might have the makings of a team that could certainly play for a Division IV championship.
What went wrong here?
Something happened in the block. That's intercepted.
Yeah, number 11.
Yep. That's Trent Twombly again. So 2 big defensive plays by Twombly. Look at that Xavier sideline with the coach jumping up and down. He's excited. He's going to celebrate with Twombly.
Something happened there, Brett. It looked like, did Xavier go offside? But I'm not exactly sure. Because none of the blockers got in position to block.
Evan Roach, the injured polar bear, a senior offensive lineman.
Ball's going to be placed at the 21 of Hortonville.
But yeah, to finish our thought, that's tough. I mean, when you got a team, a special type of team, and I guess that's just a life lesson. It's not going to work out. So you take advantage of what's out there, win the games that you get to play, and get into that culminating event and win a couple games there, and feel good that you were able to get through a season in the middle of a pandemic.
Was it Evan Roach, Brett?
Correct, yep.
Evan Roach, a 6'1", 230-pound senior, also a captain. He's being looked at. 11:36 left here in the third quarter. Looks like they're trying to get him up.
Yep, looking like that left leg. So hopefully the young man isn't too dinged up and can maybe get back out there later. We'll see what happens with Roach as he's coming off the sidelines slow in any event. Great field position after that Twombly interception. Ricardo again, Twombly making that play along, bringing down Hughes for the 2-yard loss, showing his speed, and then showing the hands. Again, there's something seemed to be a little disjointed. Something happened there, and Dodd was on the run pretty fast and hurried into a throw, and Twombly picks it off, and now at the 21-yard line. Great field position for a Xavier offense that has really been humming tonight. Zuliger has a little pitch out to Oswald. And there you see that offense really clicking. You fake the handoff into Strand, quarterback on the run, a little option pitch to Oswald, and a 9-yard pickup. A lot for the defense to keep an eye on.
Again, and not being familiar with Xavier, Brett, that's tough to prepare for.
Strand has it, powering his way. You think he got the first down. And looks like a 1st and goal coming up. I think they're going to spot it right at the 10.
So they can't get a first down, so it's goal to goal. You see the Hortonville crowd being a little bit more vociferous is
Zuliger wrestled down to about the 6, so 2nd and goal from the 6. Something tells me, Ricardo, that big old number 44 is going to get a touch here pretty soon. Strand has it, and he's just going to power his way in from 6 yards out. His 2nd touchdown of the night. Again, can't say it enough. Great job by that front. There was a big lane for Strand to get that initial head of steam, and he just lowered his shoulder and finished it off.
Again, Xavier taking advantage of the turnover, able to march in 4 plays, 21 yards. As I update my Twitter, again, you can follow me at PC Ricardo, Brett's at PC Brettsy, and Rosie's at Metal Rosie.
Seidler, good-looking kicker, punches another one through. And with 10:02 remaining in this third quarter, Xavier turns a turnover into a touchdown and a 31-6 advantage over the Polar Bears. Didn't see this tonight.
No, I was expecting a little bit more close game, especially given the enrollment difference. But, you know, Xavier's no joke. They very well could be the best team in D4. Brett, I know in the medium school divisions I had them ranked number 2. Lake Country Lutheran, I think, was number 1. But I might actually give Xavier a first-place vote this week.
I think, was it in the WisSports.net? Wasn't it Waukesha Catholic? Were they?
Yeah, well, Catholic Memorial lost, though.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I think, okay, interesting. I think they were still ranked number 1, though, in the WisSports.net coaches poll.
They did lose to a Division II team, I want to say, but that was enough for me to knock them out of first. So,
yeah, very, very impressive and a multifaceted offense. That winning team, Ricardo, they can do a lot of things on the ground, but we've seen some spark in that passing attack as well. As the Polar Bears now bringing it back. That's Payne on the carry, and boy, you can just feel that energy on the opposite sideline. You can just hear it. You can hear the fans. And when you're up 25 points here with all of the second half still to be played, feeling pretty good about the outcome of this one.
So yeah, everything probably went wrong. That if you're Hortonville, that was a nightmare of a start to the quarter. You know, turning it over and then losing one of your very best players in Roach.
Well, and again, keep in mind, no Parker Lawrence for the Polar Bears, as Hughes now looking to get around the corner. But good job by Strand to at least slow Hughes down. Hughes, again, trying to find that corner, but Strand with the speed to kind of slow him down a little bit. But nice pickup at the 30-yard line for the Polar Bears. And I was going to ask you, if you're Hortonville now, do you just start chucking it downfield? But they're going to Hughes first play on the ground.
You have to have some semblance of a run game, Brett. You don't want the pass rushers for Xavier just to tee off on your quarterback.
Dodd waiting for the snap, and he is going to drop back. Quick pass, slings it. Almost picked off by Twombly again.
Yeah, Twombly is all over the field. Very, very impressive playmaker. 6'1", 180-pound.
Another one of those good
defender.
basketball players, too. So 3rd and 6 coming up for the Polar Bears under first-year head coach Benjamin Stumpf.
Yeah, Loken. I mean, they have really good linebackers. I know Hankins was talking about Loken and how, you know, if Strand wasn't such a headliner, Loken would be the guy that could be possible defensive player of the year for the Bay.
Dodd got time, looking for a screen with Hughes.
Look at Loken was right there.
Yeah, Loken was right there, and then number 52 for
Clemens.
Yeah, Nate Clemens finishes up. Boy, they're assignment sound. They're not getting beat. They're not making mental mistakes, and 3 and out, forcing the Polar Bears to punt. That looked like initially maybe a pretty good screen setup, but again, that Xavier speed making it very difficult for the Polar Bears offensively tonight. And Oswald back to receive this punt. He's setting up at about the 35-yard line, so presumably pretty nice field position again for this Hawks offense. Ricardo, I don't know how many straight drives they've scored points. Ooh, low punt. Wow.
That's going to go out.
About at the 46, I think.
Four straight drives. It looks like they've scored on, Brett.
So looking to make it 5 in a row.
Yeah, that includes a field goal now.
Yeah, well, that's a scoring drive. Be curious to see the stats at the end of this one. Again, they're coming off a game against Shawano talking about Xavier, where they poured up 550 plus yards. They got to be certainly well on their way to another big outing offensive. Of course, the short field, the last drive with Strand now carrying, but Twombly setting it up with the interception. A lot of weapons.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of weapons. I mean, we saw Loken looking good when Strand had to go out of the game when he was banged up there a little bit, and then when you add some weapons with some guys up front that are just getting the job done along that offensive line. Oswald, Severin, just looking along some of those skill position players offensively. There's a toss to Severin, looking for some space.
Nice.
Yeah, nice little juke, a little stiff arm, and he's going to get to about the 40, maybe. Yeah, right at the 40-yard line, so third down coming up. Dave Hinkins, head coach in his 20th season. All-time leader in career coaching wins at Xavier. The 2009 playoff victory, Hinkins surpassed the great Torchy Clark as the winningest football coach in program history. How about that?
Very impressive.
Torchy Clark, legendary name. Of course, coached Rocky Blyer. Zuliger, nowhere to go.
Oh, yeah, Zuliger. Hortonville sniffed that one out. One of the few times the Polar Bears have had a tackle for loss. Ball's going to be at the 41, so 4th and 5. As looks like the punting unit's coming on.
Dave Hinkins at Xavier, Ricardo, 147 and 60, his career record. That includes this season. Hard to believe he's been there 20 years as Xavier going for it on fourth down.
They are going for it.
Yeah, Zuliger looking downfield. He's got a receiver. Swatted away, I think. I think that was number 20 for the Polar Bears, Preston Menino, junior defensive back. Looked like maybe, was that number 6? Oswald maybe was open a little bit. But at the 42-yard line, how about Xavier saying, okay, near midfield, but we trust our defense to get off the field and put our offense back on. So an opportunity, I guess, for the Polar Bears at least to get something going here, flip field position at the very least. Dodd's got plenty of time. He's going to survey the field, looking downfield. Tough throw. Payne almost with the leaping grab. That's tough, Ricardo. He had 3 defenders all around him, including one coming close to him. So you got to concentrate.
He still had that hand on the ball, though. I mean, I'm sure he's going to say, well, I should have caught that.
He should have caught that.
That's a tough throw, and that's in dangerous conditions there.
Well, yeah, especially as your receiver leaping, knowing that somebody's coming across ready to tag you if you bring that down. So 2nd and 10 coming up for Hortonville. 3 receivers far side. It's a handoff to Hughes. So we're talking the success of Dave Hinkins in the program he's established. His first year was 2001. Let's talk a little bit about Benjamin Stump here at Hortonville, Ricardo. Here's a guy that was an assistant at Fond du Lac. He's only 35 years old, so he's going to kind of bring some of that Fond du Lac mentality, which is rooted in the Kimberly system.
Yes.
I'm sure conditioning, weight room. I think he's strength and conditioning as well.
And that's from Oshkosh North.
Yeah, really goes back a ways under Steve Jorgensen. So a lot of ties to teams in Oshkosh North and Kimberly, obviously, have won football championships, and we've seen how good Fond du Lac has been, now coached by Steve Jorgensen's son, Steven. But a very interesting hire coming from a very successful program right here in the FEA. So what are your thoughts on that? It's going to take him maybe a little bit of time to put his stamp on things, but reading the article that you had written when he was hired back in April, he's coming into a great situation of a very solid football program with facilities already in place. So shouldn't be too hard to maybe accomplish what he wants to accomplish, especially going into the Valley Football Association, which, at least in recent years, the central schools are not as strong
Right,
as
typically
the Valley
they haven't
schools.
been. No, and I think this is the perfect situation for Coach Stump to get this program. You know, I believe it's already established. I think they want to take that next step, though, and I think they've been waiting for it. I know that we talked about this earlier, Brett, how they were very close to the. I mean, they took the eventual Division II champs right to the limit.
Yeah. Well, no, that yeah.
No, but there was another year they did win it. I was here at the game, or I was at Menasha at the game, right down there at the end where they had the game-winning touchdown that wasn't caught. But that's how close the program has been. And I know Coach Stump wants to have that be a perennial thing, an annual thing where they are in the mix. One of the teams that should be considered to be a Division II title contender. Here's the thing: they don't have a shortage of athletes.
No,
Hortonville has always had great athletes up and down all their sports. Now it's a matter of kind of mixing everything together and having it come out correct.
Hortonville going for it on 4th down, turnover on down, so Xavier going to take over at the 45. But that's a good point. Hortonville's been good at a lot of things. Baseball program's been solid. Girls basketball, boys basketball has been good. Wrestling obviously. Yeah. Football under Tom and Andy Colasso. So a lot of good stuff. And now you got this gorgeous facility. The gymnasium is nice. You got a weight room. I don't know. I guess I've never seen their weight room, but I'm assuming that it's really good. And at some point, I know it's going to happen. They're going to have their indoor little facility too.
They're also gaining an enrollment. Eventually, they're going to be a D1 school throughout everything.
Yeah, they got Greenville just down the road that's just feeding into this. So it'd be interesting now. You kind of take that Fond du Lac / Kimberly mentality or the blueprint and see what happens here with the Polar Bears as Max Strand wrestled down 3rd down coming up.
I think it's always fun to watch these programs, try to put the building blocks in place and to where they have the success because, for the longest time, Kimberly was the gold standard here in this area. But
and still is.
It still is for a lot of reasons in terms of when you're looking at the totality of a sports department, they're the ones that are leading the way.
Oh yeah. Nina's still very good as Zuliger weaving his way down the field. Is he going to get in? Nope, pushed out of bounds inside the 10 at about the 7. So Zuliger showing off his wheels.
Yeah, 32-yard run for Zuliger.
Hawks ready to punch another one into the end zone. Nina's another school. I know they're going to be building a new school, but I wonder at some point are they going to have one of those indoor facilities as well? And ball's going to be marked at the 8. 1st and goal coming up. But Stump, physical education teacher here, as well as the strength and conditioning coordinator. Strand looking for his 3rd touchdown of the night, but dropped down at about the 5. But again, having that strength and conditioning background now, we've seen so much success with it and how it's used and how it's set up at Kimberly and then Fond du Lac. It's going to really take hold here, whatever he brings in from those programs, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this program maybe takes another step or just continues to evolve. A lot of good stuff happening here in Hortonville.
2nd down and goal to goal from the 6. And there again is
Loken.
Yeah, Loken, but
Zuliger looks like he wanted to keep the ball. What's going on?
I was going to say this is one of those times possibly when you're holding on to the ball so long, the chance of a fumble increases. But I think Xavier was able to keep possession.
Yeah, they were, and I could see it looked like Zuliger was maybe a little upset. Maybe he wanted to keep the ball.
2-yard gain though for Loken.
But that's tough. I mean, what is the practice? What are you talking about? I mean, if you're that running back, you're squeezing hard because you might keep it, and the quarterback's like trying to get it away, and you're just holding on for dear life. So, I'm surprised you don't see more fumbles in situations like that. So 3rd and goal coming up. Zuliger, whoa, tough snap. He's got it. Oh, somehow works his way into the end zone. 4-yard touchdown. That thing looked like it wasn't going anywhere because there was a little bobble with the snap, but he just weaves his way in. His first touchdown of the night, rushing. And it is all Xavier tonight here at Akin Field as Seidler getting ready for the PAT. Kick is good. So did that make 5 straight drives now?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, no, because their drive before.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Had an incomplete.
So,
by the way, got a tweet from Julie Panko. Oh, I should say, I'm sorry. That's Chris Genrick again. She liked one of his saying, "Hey, shout out to Hortonville girls golf team qualifying for
There you go.
their first time at state." Yeah, I wrote a story on that actually.
Another program doing well here.
Yeah, Downey and Kundinger leading the way there for the girls golf team. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to all our golfers. Again, we talked about Hain winning the title, but Freedom Girls Golf made it there as a team. So again, in my opinion, it was great to see state tournaments going on.
Yeah.
Even though you'd like to see it for football in the conventional sense, you did see it, and we're going to see it for cross country.
Yes, which is good.
Which, by the way, Freedom boys and girls cross country teams won the conference title to NEC because Thane Jones texted me and called me twice to let me know.
Well, I had heard on the boys' side that actually Freedom and Little Shoe tied, but then the Irish won it on a tiebreaker. So what is a tiebreaker in cross country?
I have no idea what that is. It might be the 6th runner, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be interested to know how that works. Boy, there's a lot of good stuff again. Even with this strange season, is the Valley, Fox Valley, really showing off again. So many good teams and programs, multiple sports, athletes. I'm just glad we got some stuff going here.
I am too. It's needed, and
yes,
the excitement level is palpable. I'm happy to see everyone. We say it so many times, but it does bring some sense of normalcy to everything.
You need that. I mean, everybody needs that nowadays. Normalcy is a good thing. Is Dodd now on the run?
Boy,
Watch out.
Oof.
That was, I think, number 55 for the Hawks, getting in there pretty fast. Jacob Earl again. 6'3", senior, 225 pounds. Big kid getting back there pretty fast, showing his speed.
Loss of 4 yards, or close to 5 yards. 2nd down and 15 for Hortonville. And again, we talked about Xavier's defense and how good this is. I'm thinking sometime in the future I'll have to profile this defense and how good it is.
Are you going to be going to Rapids for the cross country?
Oh, I'm sure I have to.
Good.
There's no way I'm out of it, my friend. And then hopefully we can set up shop again on the 2nd level of Bill's Pizza to complete our stories.
Chase Hughes on the carry. You got to get yourself one of those Italian beef sandwiches. Telling you. Nothing on it.
Well, it's on the company, so we'll see what happens.
It goes well with the cracker crust pizza.
Oh, cracker crust is the bomb. It's definitely incredible.
You know, when I was over with family, was over helping my mom move a few things into the garage and getting ready for winter, and we ordered Bill's, and I said to my mom, I said, I probably have had this for hundreds of times, and it just never gets old. That's how good it is.
By the way, they're not a sponsor.
They're not, but they should be. Ooh, Dodd on the run. Looking for some space and gets, let's see if they're going to, nope, okay. Folks here in front and the sideline, all Hortonville fans wanting another 15 on top of that, but the official not listening. So a good run, though, by Dodd. Yeah. 4th down coming up, though.
4th down and 3.
All Xavier tonight, 38-6. Late here in the 3rd quarter at Akin Field. Again, thank you to Sam Englund and the IT staff for making sure we're all set up. Great to know that we can plug in here and have a good connection. And a place we'll definitely want to come back now that we know that we can make it work. So it looks like a timeout coming up. Hortonville going to burn its first timeout of the 2nd half.
Now Rosie's rocking out. They're playing a little foreigner for you, Rosie. aptly named cold as ice because it is freezing here, Brett.
It's getting a little chilly.
My feet are freezing.
Did you wear extra socks like
no,
I did?
I did not.
Well,
I don't even know if that would have helped.
You're barely even. I'm wearing layers and a winter coat, and you're just sitting there like wearing a zip-up sweatshirt.
It's a thicker sweatshirt, though.
Oh, come on. You got to be putting on a parka.
I know. Hey, I learned my lesson. Next week I'll come the way I should be. You know? Brad, think about it. It's mid-October. Come on.
I'm going to start choosing games by press boxes that have heat. That's what I'm going to be doing.
I'm going to have to bring my own heat source with me.
Hopefully we'll have 5 more games to stream and take it into the winter season. I'm banking on we're going to have some basketball games to stream.
I think we will. I'm not sure when, though. Maybe not till after January, though.
Dodd.
Fourth
down.
pressured.
Watch out. Nope.
52.
Great coverage downfield. Nowhere to throw in that line. 52, yeah, getting in there. Nate Clemens, we've called his name a few times tonight, brings down Dodd, and a short field coming up and a chance for Ricardo. A touchdown here would make for a running clock.
You're right. I didn't even think about that. Ball's going to be at, where are they marking this, at the 25? Right at the 25.
Lourdes now with a 19-12 lead. Excuse me. A little tickle in my throat.
All the cigars, huh?
Well, here's the thing. You always worry that everybody's going to look at you when you cough a little bit nowadays.
They think you're infected.
I know. That's something that, as a society, we're going to have to get over pretty quick. Ball at the 25, first down and 10 for the Hawks. Zuliger under center, and let's see what he chooses to do right away to Loken, pushing his way forward. Wow, down to the 10. He runs hard.
He does. 15-yard carry for Loken.
Waste no time, and again, that offensive line, so maybe get some numbers and some names on these guys up front, doing a great job getting a push.
Brett, why don't you rattle off the numbers? I'll try to get the names.
I see 58, 52, 76, 55, and 53. Start talking about those guys doing a great job up front. Here's a handoff to Loken, wrestled down.
Well, let me rattle off these names. First off, that's Clemens doing double duty, playing linebacker, also being a guard. And then you have Sean Hesse, a 6', 200-pound junior. You have Braden Tepp, 6'5", 295. We've seen him play defense as well. Then you have Jacob Earl, 6'3", 225. And then number 53, Eddie Flottmeyer, 5'11", 195-pound junior.
So we've called a couple of those guys on some defensive plays.
Yes.
Second down and goal at the 9. Zuliger, big toss to Oswald. I think you got to credit number 20 for kind of stopping that Preston Menino. But then August Maurer, number 42, the defensive lineman, coming in to drop Oswald quickly. And we have another Hortonville player down. Trying to see who that is. That is, looks like number 20. That's Menino, the junior defensive back. Yeah. Well, they're kind of holding that, stretching that leg, so maybe that's what it is.
You know, Brett, we're talking about the pandemic, and this is one of those times in history that you'll be looking upon years later. I know I talked to my son about that. He's only 12, but I'm trying to explain to him the gravity of the situation. I'm like, you're going to be telling your grandkids about this. They're going to be asking you, what was it like?
Yeah.
Living through that once in 100-year kind of thing.
I've thought about that too. As even us, like even a year from now, a couple years from now, we're gonna look back and think, man, can you believe we just went through that?
30 years from now, my day.
yeah, that's gonna be it looks like the end of the third quarter. With Xavier on the move here to open the fourth quarter, but let's hope this situation can get resolved sooner than later.
Got to update my Twitter account again. Follow me at PC Ricardo. You can follow Brett at PC Brettsy.
Yeah, and Mike Bates.
Rosie at Middle Rosie.
Mike Bates over at Xavier let me know that Xavier will be at West of Pier will be at Xavier next Friday. That's on. So the Phantoms coming back to play. Interesting. I thought maybe West of Pier might at this point just say, you know what, let's move to the spring. But one of the questions, we'll talk about this here in the fourth quarter, that I have with this 20-team league that was just announced this week. What's Menasha going to do?
Yeah, I sent out a question to their coach, Jeremy Court.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't. I mean, he said he would get back to me, so they're trying to figure it out themselves.
I'm surprised they weren't part of that package.
Right. Well, remember they switched to spring relatively late, so they may have already decided stuff. They're not going to try to ramrod Menasha into it.
But that's a tough situation for the Blue Jays, who obviously year in and year out and have been state level good. Made it to the state title game last year. I got fooled there. I didn't know who had the football. Whoa, big hit there.
Big hit. Whoa.
I think that was huge for Hortonville coming on and bringing Verboomen down. I thought Verboomen was going to get into the end zone the way he was making guys miss, but it looked like Hughes with the big hit.
Yeah,
third and
nice
goal at the
cutback.
6.
6 yard. I wonder if they're going to go for the field goal. Brett make it a 35-point game.
Check that fourth down. So, yeah, you're right, Ricardo. Looks like another 23-yard field goal attempt coming up for Seidler. And we got a flag, so I think this is going to be delay of game on the Hawks. It's going to back them up 5 yards. That was seemed like a quick clock.
Yeah, it was a quick clock, but they're keeping track of it. We aren't.
We aren't. So
28
at
yard?
the 18, marked at the 18, we'll say. Trying to see here.
Yeah, it's at the 18.
So 28-yard field goal attempt for Seidler. Let's see if he can knock this through. Big leg, that is good. Nice leg. Boy, Seidler having a great night kicking.
Yeah.
2 field goals tonight. That's what did we say, a 28-yarder?
Yep. He's they're talking about Seidler being a freshman, Brett.
Yeah, how about that? Just a freshman with a big leg like that, and Ricardo, that's a weapon. It seems like Xavier has had a lot of success with their kickers over the years, and you can take so much pressure off of you offensively if you got a kid that, man, you think about like last week's game, that 9-6 that Wrightstown went over Little Chute. You just have a kicker that can knock it through like they did. Talking about the Tigers. Just a big-time weapon to have, and Seidler, that was good probably for another 20 yards. It seemed like he just sailed it over the crossbar and through the uprights, and he's got 3 more years of that.
Yeah. If you want to read that, what our boss just sent us, Mike Sherry, or my boss, I should say, about Notre Dame.
Yeah, Mike Sherry, we were talking about the teams like Notre Dame and Menasha. Maybe that's why West of Pier is just going to say, hey, we're just going to try to play as many games as we can here in the fall. Mike Sherry texting that story by our colleague Scott Vency up at the Green Bay Press-Gazette today said that schools like Notre Dame wanted to get into that 20-team conference, but by the time they pulled the plug on trying to play this fall, the new league already had its groupings and schedule done. All sides felt bad about it, but it was too late to add more teams. So you're right, Ricardo. When you're trying to get 20 teams involved, I'm sure they were talking about this weeks ago, and those schools made the decision right away to not even try to play football.
Yeah, because I'm
fall.
sure they would have included Menasha and Notre Dame. Those are two.
Or even at West of Pier, if
West of Pier
could say, you know what, we're just going to hold off. As Hughes now. Actually, that was a 12 men on the field call before that pushed.
Okay.
That pushed the Hawks back, but that was a piece of cake for Seidler. He was like, "Yeah, keep pushing me back. I'm gonna show off my strong leg." As we have
6 foot, 190-pound freshman.
And a 35-point lead for Xavier now means running clock at Akin Field. Hard to believe. I did not expect a running clock here tonight as Hughes running hard.
Hughes had a nice rail there, but again, Xavier's defense closing quick.
Well, let's talk about that 20-game conference. Get your thoughts on it, Ricardo. Maybe I can kind of mention in your article earlier this week about it and some of the teams. I don't know if you mentioned all the teams in here.
Yeah, I had them. I thought I had all the groupings in there somewhere. Ooh,
but you got
Chase.
You got teams like Appleton North, Schwabenon, Kimberly, and Pulaski. That's Group B. Group A is going to have Bayport, Fond du Lac, Green Bay Preble, Neenah, and Spash. Group C is going to have Appleton West, De Pere, Green Bay Southwest, Manitowoc, and Oshkosh West. Group D will have Green Bay East, Green Bay West, Oshkosh North, Sheboygan North, and Sheboygan South. And I think I failed to mention that Appleton East will be in that Group B with Appleton North,
yes.
Schwabenon, Kimberly, and Pulaski. So a lot of good teams, a lot of good programs. What do you think? Was that going to start up in March?
Yeah, I think the first week of practice is the first week of March. Brett, I'm very excited to see that league compete. Again, it's a 5-game, I think.
5-game schedule with.
And then, so you're playing the four other teams, and then one wild card or one whatever non-conference or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so I know for us, we have a lot of good teams there to possibly stream. It's going to be interesting. They're just going to do probably something similar to what they're doing this year with like a 2-week playoff.
Yeah. So you still play for a grouping championship and get into the postseason and something to play for.
Then you have four of the division champs, and then whoever wins that wins this regional district. We should just have district football anyway.
I know
another story for another time.
You've always been a proponent of that, but pretty interesting. So for that coming up, but some interesting matchups. I mean, you got Appleton North, Kimberly in that Group B. Appleton East is supposed to be really good offensively, at least. Schwabenon on the rise with Brian Richkowski, and he's got a lot of skilled positions. Pulaski always has good football teams year in and year out. So, and then you look at Group A with Bayport and Fond du Lac and Neenah, Preble and Spash. Spash is on the down slope right now. They had to come back like a 1-8 season last year, but it's gonna be fun to see how this all plays out. And yeah, I mean, two things. Number one, hopefully the pandemic has slowed down by then. But number two, you just never know what that spring weather is going to be like. I ran into Thane Jones last week. He was actually had his cross-country teams working out. I was on a bike ride, and I ran into Thane. And he was talking about the same thing. He's going, spring, a couple years ago, we had a big snowstorm, a pretty sizable snowstorm in April. And that would obviously create some issues as well. Ran into Steve Jones on a walk. We kind of live in the same neighborhood now, and he agreed. But he also said, and I agree with this: you got to try. We got to try this. We got to see if we can do this. That's kind of what I feel about the fall, though, too. I think I would have liked to have seen more schools try, and if you can't make it work, then pull out and then go to the spring option. But easier said than done. I mean, there's so many factors at play, so many unknowns, obviously, still. So, but yeah, from our standpoint, from a media standpoint, boy, we could end high school basketball and go back into some 5 weeks, 6, 7 weeks of high school football again. I just hope Mother Nature plays nice and gives us a nice spring like we had. I think last year we had a really nice spring, and unfortunately at that point, that was when the pandemic really started to take over, and everything was canceled in the spring. All sports, all tournaments. I remember thinking back in June, that first weekend in June when state track is usually beastly hot or rain. Gorgeous weekend. Gorgeous weekend.
There, of course.
So I'm like, wow, go figure. That is just the weirdest thing. So I don't know. I hope it works out. I hope we get through this and we have some more football to stream in the springtime. That'd be a lot of fun, and it would make for. And then we're also trying to plan for the Northeast Wisconsin High School Sports Awards show, and I just sent an email to my contact, part of the corporate events team, and more details on that to come. But I did tell her, I said, not sure if you're aware, but Wisconsin is actually in a bad spot right now. We're the nation's hot spot, and particularly here in the Fox Valley region.
Right.
So I said, I don't know even what winter's going to hold for us with sports, let alone, I said we got a lot of our larger schools that are going to be trying to play football in the spring. So trying to choose nominees for some of these sports, it's just not going to be, we're not going to know some of these award nominees until March, April. And I think our show might be more like May, June. And I do know, I can't tell you, that was an all-out.
I think it was blocked, actually.
All-out attempt to block that punt, but I can tell you that the Sports Awards show for this next year, this next spring, will be virtual again. There's just too many unknowns to try to secure a venue and go live again. So I think that's probably the right call at this point. Just make it safe, and then hopefully in 2022 we'll be back doing the live shows.
It seems so far away, but yeah.
Well, I've told people, it's called COVID-19 because it was discovered in 2019, and we're almost at 2021. So I'm hoping that the smart people can kind of figure this out and we can get past this quickly.
Well, let's just hope it doesn't mutate into COVID-21. Then we're really in trouble.
I don't think that'll happen.
There's Chase Hughes.
Yeah, still on the run.
As it looks like a lot of backups are in for Xavier. On defense.
So a lot of stuff going on, obviously, in the world of the world. And then, of course, you add Wisconsin high school sports. And yeah, last check, Freedom was leading Little Chute 9-6 at the half. One of our colleagues, Jordan Jacobson, is out there. Hughes with the ball. Third quarter score from a tweet, same score, Freedom 9, Little Chute 6, so that's a battle.
We kind of figured that would
be,
though.
I mean, Freedom's been really rolling, but that was pretty good Little Chute defense we saw last week, and looking forward to seeing the Irish. Again, we're right now, the plan is to stream their game at Wrightstown in Week 7 of the regular season finale, but who knows with the way the schedules have been going. Maybe we'll see Freedom a little bit earlier, and a good looking run there by number 22, it looks like, for the Polar Bears. That's Gabe Concepcion.
Oh, he must be the younger brother of Jose Concepcion.
Yep, he's just a sophomore. So ball at the 10. And I think Hortonville wants to talk things over, try to punch one in here before we call it a night. I don't think we have a photojournalist here tonight.
I don't believe
they must be at that Little Chute Freedom game, the County End game. Nice to see that the trophy games, some of them are still going on. The Apple Bowl that Xavier reclaimed. I don't think the China Bowl is being played this year, though, is it?
No, because Amro switched to the spring. Winneconne's playing this year.
So who has it right now?
I believe Amro has it.
So Amro just keeps it in their trophy case? They should just have a summer game.
Yeah, they should.
Just go out there and say, we're playing for it.
Actually, I was talking to Kyle Dietzen, the great linebacker for Amro, and he says they changed it up a little bit. They used to have it where there would be a prep rally, and then the opposing team captains would come and bring the bull. Now it's done before the game or something like that.
Okay.
The year previous or the year after, whoever wins it. I find that to be interesting.
Is that trying to keep things is that like in the battle for the axe, Minnesota, Wisconsin, that now they always have to make sure they have it so that the teams can't storm to the sideline.
Yes, exactly.
It's so goofy. Second down. Can still get a first down. Nice tackle.
Oh, wow.
That was number 10 on the tackle. Alan Jimenez, a senior for the Hawks.
They have a backup minute quarterback now, John Sargent, sophomore quarterback for Hortonville.
Third and looks like 3 from the 11 for the Polar Bears. Again, running clock after that 28-yard field goal by Seidler, his second of the game. He has a 23-yarder back in the second quarter. Xavier on its way to a 4-0 start. Hortonville's going to drop to 2-2. And that's going to be close to a first down. That's
real close.
Concepcion again on the carry. And I think he does have the first down. So first and goal, Ricardo coming up at the 8 as the clock continues to run. You're kind of getting ready to go down on the field. And folks can find your stuff later tonight on postcrescent.com.
Yeah, a little quick wrap-up, and then we have a little more in-depth stuff coming up for Sunday.
Yep, check out all our prep coverage. Ooh, I think that's a fumble. 32 for the Polar Bears. Theo Buchanan falling on that loose ball, so Hortonville will keep it as we are a minute 20 and counting away from wrapping this up at Akin Field. But a lot of always great stuff, and a lot of it more of the prep stuff, Ricardo, subscription only. So if you're watching, you don't have a subscription to any of our USA Today Network Wisconsin websites, please do so. You get so much good stuff, especially from our digital offerings. There's Concepcion on the toss, looking, big time hit, wow.
Wow, still playing tough.
Yeah, I think that was 34. Mark Steinledge, hopefully I'm saying that right, just a sophomore. He going one-on-one with Concepcion. And ball at the 2, 3rd and goal coming up, and that clock is still running. Finish this game on a good note. Hortonville wants to get into the end zone here. Concepcion has it, and he pushes his way through. Call it a 2-yard touchdown plunge for Concepcion. So good hard run by Concepcion. Looked pretty good on that drive, Ricardo, and a good way for at least Hortonville to end this one as the PAT coming up. And the kick is through this time for number 6, Drew Klein. There's a good look at Gabe Concepcion.
His older brother, Jose, was one of my Elite 11 last year or the year before. I can't remember. Good kids.
And again, be sure to give me a follow on Twitter. As far as information on next week's live stream, I'll announce something early next week, probably more like midweek, I guess, at PC Bretzi. So I'll know more about that, I guess, on Monday when I see what the matchups are. I'm kind of sort of in a little bit of a holding pattern now just because things change up so much. I mean, it's just
understandably so.
Normally I like to have that schedule way out in advance. I'm even sort of half reluctant to reach out to athletic directors on that 20-game spring football conference. That's still 5 months away, and I'm like, boy, who knows what we're going to be looking at back at that point. Up, March. Gavin Sanchez with the return and 19.6 seconds to go. Ricardo, I'm guessing that Dave Hinkins and the Hawks are just going to take a knee.
Right.
And finish this up.
In fact, I'm writing final already.
Looks like we got something going on. Another Hortonville player down, Ricardo. Can't get a number on the young man. Right at midfield.
Can you get that number now? I think it's 20.
Looks like, yep, number 20. It is Preston Menino again, the junior.
Excuse me. Rosie, how we doing out there? You look pretty Not frozen yet? Okay. Yeah, when will we find out about when that game will be, when you've decided?
I usually tweet it out Wednesdays.
Okay.
Usually Wednesday and then Thursday I get the live stream link out and tweet that out as well. So front end of the week is always busy with Clubhouse Live preparations. So Monday's always a long day. And then Tuesday's what I like to call Clubhouse cleanup. Got to get some things finished up from the previous week as Menino walking off the field. Hopefully he's all right. Looks like he's got some sort of a cut. And then, but I'll check the schedule and see if there's some changes. I know there's a Freedom FBL game that's kind of intriguing to me. That'd be at Fox Valley Lutheran, and then kind of waiting to see maybe what Little Shoot's going to do. And then Xavier hosting West De Pere is a big one as well. But given the current situation, it's going to be really pretty tough to live stream a game at Rocky Blyer, unfortunately, this year, which is understandable. That'd have been a fun one as well. So, thoughts on these two teams before you get down to the field?
First off, Xavier, in my opinion, now is the best team in Division 4, and I will be getting them their first place vote, taking it from Lake Country Lutheran.
Beating an FVA team.
Very impressive. They have all the components you need for a championship team. It's just unfortunate this season we'll never know. For Hortonville, there were some things early on in the game, Brett, that they missed. They had a penalty on a long pass. Some things they got to clean up, but they're going to be competitive the rest of the season too. Remember, they got to play a couple more of the Valley Football Association schools, so some things looking upward too for Coach Stump and Hortonville as well. But Xavier, well-deserved win.
Well-deserved win, but a pretty big measuring stick next week. Those are always good games when you have Menasha West De Pere, Menasha Xavier, Xavier West De Pere. A good Bay Conference game. So that should be very interesting to see how that plays out. Of course, this Hortonville team took it to West De Pere. So, or I shouldn't say it was actually, I think, more of a competitive game.
43-39.
Yeah, it was a high-scoring game, but still. We'll see how it all plays out. Week 4 wrapping up here. Already moving on to Week 5, and I'm just, as I said, always happy when we can move on to another week and be somewhere on a Friday night.
Well, you guys take care. We'll do this again next week. Thanks, Rosie. Thanks, Brett.
Yep, I'll run down the scoring before we call it a night here at Akin Field. Xavier got on the scoreboard first with 3:55 remaining in the first quarter. Ray Zuliger, a 19-yard hookup to Cal Mayers, made it 7-0, and then those two hooked up again on a 55-yard strike with 7:30 remaining in the second quarter. Xavier took a 14-0 lead. Then two quick scores late in three quick scores within the final 2 minutes and 33 seconds of the second half. The first was a 23-yard field goal. Hawks A.J. Seiler made it 17-0 Xavier. And then T.J. Payne followed it up with a 90-yard kickoff return for the Polar Bears. The kick was no good, so 17-6 Xavier with the lead. But then the Hawks with a late first half touchdown run, a 3-yard score by Max Strand, the first of 2 runs for him tonight. That touchdown run came with 17.5 seconds remaining in the second quarter, and the Hawks took a 24-6 lead into the half. Strand scored first in the third quarter for the Hawks with 10:02 to play, a 6-yard touchdown run. Made it 31-6. That actually followed the turnover, the interception by Trent Twombly. So a short field for the Hawks, and they took advantage. So 31-6, Xavier with the lead. Then Ray Zuliger, the quarterback, 2 touchdowns in the air, and then his only touchdown run of the night, a 4-yard score with 3:06 to play in the third quarter, made it 38-6. Seiler again with a 28-yard field goal very early in the fourth quarter, made it 41-6. So that's that 35-point margin, which led to the running clock, and then we just saw with 26.5 seconds remaining, Gabe Concepcion, the Polar Bears running back, a 2-yard touchdown plunge. The kick was good, and that's how it ends, 41-14. Xavier with the convincing victory. With the win, Xavier improves to 4-0 on the season, and the Hawks We'll be hosting West Appear next Friday. That's a Bay Conference game over at Rocky Blyer Field in Appleton. Kickoff is scheduled for 7 p.m. Hortonville drops to 2-2 on the year, and the Polar Bears will be right here at Akin Field as they take on Wausau East next Friday. That's actually a Valley Football Association game. Kickoff also scheduled for 7 p.m. As for us and where we'll be next week, again, that's to be determined. I'll announce the game will be streaming on my Twitter account at PCBrettC, so please give me a follow. You can access our previous Game of the Week live streams on our USA Today Network Wisconsin website. Just go to the sports section and scroll down until you see the Watch Our Varsity Game of the Week Prep live streams link. So for Ricardo, Rosie, and the crew with USA Today Network Wisconsin, I'm Brett Christopherson signing off from Akin Field here at Hortonville High School. Well, once again, the final score tonight, Xavier 41, Hortonville 14. Thanks for watching, everybody.